Hola, mi gente. How are you on this freaky Friday evening? Hello, hello, you sexy beasts. We made it to another Friday. Welcome to Friday night's Freaky Friday episode of On the Block with Jen. So glad you guys visited all week long. If you didn't, it's your first time here ever. Oh my Lord, where you been? Am I not delicious? Where have you been? How are you? Hit that like and subscribe for Mama on your way in. If you want to support this show, help Mama keep the church lights on because we have church every single week up in this bitch. Cash App on the block with Jen right there scrolling on the bottom like the stock market, right? Except you go on there and you send me a little gift and no one will be the wiser, just you and I. A lot of people don't like other people seeing where their money goes. That's where you go, okay? And it's always fun if you're catching the replay and I'm getting a Cash App notification out of nowhere and it is you. So thank you to everyone who does send me Cash App gifts. And I'm more than happy to shout you out unless you want to be discreet, okay? Your business, my business. But if you want people to know you're sponsoring the show, just send your Cash App with a little note and I will let everyone know. No problem. If you don't give a damn who sees where your money is going, feel free to super chat me. That is the $sign on the bottom right of the chat box. Let's get this party started. It is freaky Friday. I got an interesting topic tonight, and I want to make sure that I see this from all angles because I think older people don't give a damn about this as much as younger people do, but we will find out tonight, okay? So without another further, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, On the Block with Jen, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, On the Block with Jen at Gmail. If you want to contact me, it's Gmail, On the Block with Jen at Gmail. A lot of people say Jen on the Block. It is not Jen on the Block. It is right there, black and white, On the Block with Jen. You are on the block with moi, okay? So let's bring up Lily, the lovely and talented Lily from YB Limited. Hello, Mama with the Black.
Hello.
Yes. Are we doing the paparazzi blockers tonight?
Yes, girl, I didn't have no time to put no makeup on today.
Okay. Hey, sometimes that happens. I didn't have time to eat. I made myself a makeshift charcuterie board, a charcuterie board. You guys know what I'm talking about.
We know, and we are here for. We approve this message.
Okay, you know the cheese and the fruit and the crackers into the charcuterie. So here we are on Freaky Friday. We made it. I know if you were watching the show yesterday, we were supposed to talk about spanking versus no spanking, not the freaky kind. We were talking about parents and children, but I am waiting for a professional to hit me back so we can take care of that topic for you next week and have a really insightful opinion from a professional who does, you know what I mean, psychology for a living. That's why we didn't want to rush it. So I was like, let's just do the traditional Freaky Friday because that's always juicy. Anyhow, so hi everyone that is lurking. How you doing, baby? It's all right. It's all right. Give me a hug. It's all right. I'm here. You're there. It's all love.
Nothing but love.
So Lily, let's bring up. Guess who pulled up to the block? I just saw his car pull up. Mr. Justin, how are you, sir?
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, stranger.
Yeah. Doing well. How's everybody else?
Everybody's really good. I'm good. Lily's good. We haven't seen you in a minute. Looks like you're hitting us from outer space.
Yep. Yes, I am.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, good to see you.
Because I'm cosmic.
You're cosmic? Uh-oh.
I didn't
it's going to be one of them nights.
I arrived on a spaceship.
That's right.
Oh, you pulled up in a spaceship. That's what I saw. It was a lot of lights. I couldn't tell. All right, guys. So tonight is Freaky Friday. Believe it or not, this topic, it's still a discussion. But again, I said I want to be fair because I am an older woman. So I don't care about the shit now that I used to care about when I was in my 20s, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, it's just fair. No, it's, we're not supposed to talk about this. No, I don't even have a vagina.
Think about the things we thought about when we were in high school. I was just listening. I was just hanging out with my daughter and listening to her stories. And she thinks they're so important. Yeah, important. Like, girl, you don't even know. It means nothing.
Right.
You're gonna forget about all of these people in just a few years.
Yeah, all of them. Yep. Very rarely do we even. Yeah, because I can't even think about shit that happened in high school. I was barely there anyway.
Me too. And I was like, I was from high school. I'd be like, who are you, girl? I don't know you.
Right. I was barely there anyway. So this subject, I've seen it on a couple of different dating platforms, and people are still talking about this. And I think that I have a little video of a guy that's explaining why it's not fair to men to wait 90 days for sex, right?
Oh.
But I always say that a lot of the things men complain about is the world they created.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that. A lot of the things men complain about is the world they created. Women feel pressure not to give up the booty before 90 days because men are going to call her names and deem her unfit for marriage.
Hang on. That's insulting and blasphemous. Males, not males.
Okay, males. I stand corrected.
Mm-hmm. There is a difference.
Yeah.
So, right, males. I agree. So, I saw this one particular gentleman making a few comments, and it's something I heard men say before, like, hey, if we have to wait 90 days for the vagina, then you have to wait 90 days for us to spend money on you and take you on dates and what have you, right? Again, silly to me, but I'm not in that dating pool where it's really, really important, to, save your flower and right? So I'm going to play this this video. This is the guy's response to a woman saying that she still thinks guys should wait 90 days.
Okay.
And I don't know if the 90 days thing was from Steve Harvey. I forgot who started that crap.
I'm
not sure.
I think he repopularized.
Okay.
Yeah, it was certainly something that was told by someone else. Like, it's not like someone came up with this stuff on their own. They're like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. It was heard and then recreated over and over and over again, for sure.
Okay. So it's like the wedding ring. When you buy a woman a wedding ring, it should be 3 months worth your salary. Like some guy said that, everybody else ran with it. Don't know why they ran with it.
No, you don't know why? It's because they can't think for themselves.
Yeah, thank you. That I was about to
That's why.
like everything else.
Because I was like, who made up like 3 months of your set? Oh, anyway, so let me play this video. Humans are so easy to indoctrinate.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear this guy out. This is his explanation for why it's unfair.
And for a man to vet you, it is the standard to spend money. Okay? For me to get your time, I have to spend money somewhere. In most cases, I gotta take you on a Capitol Grill. That's gonna cost money. I gotta take you at a place that you deem is valuable for you to sit at, right? Which is gonna cost me money, instead of saying, hey, you know what? The realistic thing is, if we just sat here and talked to each other for 90 days, and I'm like, okay, cool. If I FaceTime you, I can't FaceTime you more than, once or twice a week unless I had actually started to invest money in you for 90 days. I'm wrong. So I'm not saying that your box is in exchange for money. What I'm saying is that for me to actually get your time, I have to spend money. But yeah, I can spend your money and get your time, but never get nothing out of it. Is not fair to a man.
Okay, so he said that it's not. So what I noticed right away is he said, I'm not saying that I'm paying for your box, right? But then he contradicts himself, which is this guy usually does, right? Because I've seen him before.
He's consistent.
But then yes, he is. So he contradicts himself and say, I'm not saying that I got to pay for your box, but I'm spending this money and I'm not getting anything out of it. What's that? What is that he wants if he's not paying for the box? That's where I was confused.
Hugs. Well, hugs, yeah. Well, there's a guy down in Times Square giving out free hugs all the time.
I saw him. I know who you're talking about. Oh, it's a lot of guys anyway. They're giving out free hugs.
Yeah.
They're like, touch me, please.
Right. So, it's funny to me how men say that they don't want to pay for a vagina, but that's exactly how they describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he's like, I'm not saying that I got to pay for you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm going to spend all this money. It's not fair to me because I'm not going to get anything out of it. And that's why I always say then I don't understand why.
It's a lie.
Say again?
Right? Which means it's a lie.
Correct.
Right.
Because guys like this, all they care about is pussy.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So that's why that's why
lying.
I see what's going on.
He's absolutely lying. And he, like, guys like this, they don't have any sense of their own value, right? That's why they lead with other things, right? They lead with, weird haircuts. They lead with their fashion. They lead with their money. They lead with their job. They lead with everything that isn't them that they've acquired to pile on top of them, right? And then the girl doesn't see anything of him, right? He just has all this clutter in front of him, and he's like, "Look at all this stuff, right? You should find me valuable." And then, hey, what's up, man? The original colonizer.
What's it? Clean your screen. No, Saint. It looks blurry.
Yeah,
it just looks blurry.
So it's no wonder that girls are like, yeah, all right, you know what? All right, fine. I'll take your money. Fine, I'll let you take me here. I'll let you buy me this. I'll let you do that, right? But the attraction really isn't there, because if the attraction is there, all that stuff isn't even necessary, right? But all these guys, they're not direct, right? And they're like, oh, let me take you out. When really, he just wants to have sex, right?
Right.
That's how there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. And there really isn't. There really isn't. And here's the thing, though. I was listening to my guy Miles Cunningham talk about this, and he's like, guys are too flexible, right? So it's kind of like they're afraid to stand on what they are, and then face the possible rejection, right?
Yes.
So he gave an analogy. He's like, imagine like saying that you're a Republican, right? When you stand out and say, I'm a Republican, then you have to face people who say, you know what, I don't like Republicans because I'm not Republican. Okay. And then they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to deal with you. Right. So, but these guys are afraid of that. So what they do is they remain amorphous, right? They're like, oh, you want to do this? Oh, I can do that. You want to go here? I can go there. Right. And they remain completely flexible just so they can maintain their foot in that door of the woman's attention and time. Right. Yeah. Versus saying, no, I'm like this. And then letting her make a decision.
Right.
And that's it. And even if she doesn't like what you're saying, like what you are, there'll be some respect there, because at least you're just coming straight forward and correct. And you're not trying to lie. You're not trying to be sneaky. You're not trying to be deceptive. You're not because women can smell that shit.
Right.
You can smell that shit. And there's a certain period in time when a woman can smell that shit, and then they're like, you know what? I'm just going to let this guy do what he does, and I'm going to suck him dry for a little while. Right? I'm going to use his time. I'm going to use his money. I'm going to use his car. I'm going to use whatever he offers to me, because like, why wouldn't I take it? But then I think there comes to a certain point in a woman's life in terms of age, and they're just like, you know what? I don't even have time for that shit.
Right.
Because then he's going to be like,
it's a young girl's game.
And then I have to deal with him, and then right. And then so I think there comes a point where he's just like, you know what? Forget this. I don't have time for this guy who wants to like buy me flowers every other day just for existing.
You know, I have two of my exes. They said something to me that really impressed me. And I was like, see, I would like to hear more of this. Right. So it was actually the last two guys I dated. We started dating. And I'm one of those, let me just get it out the way. I'm one of those that I'll give you something the first night, or I'll make you wait, depending on the, what do you call it? Like, just depending on how I'm feeling. Like, I go with the flow, right? If I feel comfortable with it, then I'm going to do it. If I don't, then I won't. It's just that simple, right? So, and with both of these guys, we actually did wait. And how that went was, in the early, like maybe first or second date, they were like, listen, I do want to fuck you. I plan on fucking you. I know we're going to fuck, but we're not in a rush. Like, we're not in a rush. I'd rather get to know you. I'd rather do some things, build up, and then we can get to that. We're grown. We know how to fuck. That's easy. That's something that we all know how to do very easy. But to get to know another human being, that takes work. So we agreed mutually to wait until it wasn't like, 90 days or this or that. It just was an organic thing. And I like that. I respected them so much for that, because I was just like, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to fuck me. Like, you should want to.
Right.
What's up, familia? Coach Anthony in the building. What's up, familia? How are you? One of the best boxing coaches on the planet. No cap. Check out that YouTube channel. It's insane.
Oh, I thought this was a different Coach Anthony. I know from like a couple years ago, a dating coach. And,
not dating.
Coach Anthony.
He coaches to block, knock off blocks. Yeah. So what's up, Mark Randall?
I think he trained under Mick, right? Mickey from Rocky.
Go get him, Rock.
No,
Get in there, Rock.
No. Wrong, Coach Anthony. No,
that's the best. That is the best trainer of all time.
It is. Yes, he absolutely
got a white guy to beat Apollo Creed. Come on.
God. Don't call us. We'll call you.
Lily, what you were saying is though that that's even not on the level. The level is to not go after her for sex, but to create a situation such that she wants to fuck you more. Right? Because then you sit back and you don't do anything. And then she's like, why isn't he trying to fuck me? Why isn't he like every other guy who's wanting to get between my legs? And here he is having this whole sexual vibe. I can like smell it off of him, but he's not doing anything. He's just sitting here talking to me. But in between the lines, I think I'm hearing something. I don't even know. I want to know more. And then that starts building and building, building. And then she's like, why isn't he making a move? I want to make a move. It's driving me insane. Right. And then after that goes on for a while, now you've got the little tinfoil ball on the string. And you're like, come here, kitty. Come over here. Come over here.
I mean, that's a beautiful and sexy thing, because it's like, especially when you have a lot of suitors, right? When you're an attractive woman and you have a lot of options, although that word makes people cringe, but
you don't really.
But no shit, you want to fuck me, like no shit,
right?
Like what else you got? Because I know if you have a penis,
but that's
and you're
what
approaching
I'm
me,
and if that's the case, you don't really have the options, right? They're not real options. They're there, but it's like you're like, oh, I already know. I've already put you in the box.
Mm-hmm.
I put you in the box, you in the box, you in the box. Like it's like the second they open their mouth, you're like, yep, I know what you're all about.
Mm-hmm. Right,
and then you're like, do I really want to pick box B or do I want to pick box D? I know what's going to happen. Oh shit! Should I just like go to sleep instead?
Right.
Right. I have to wash my hair anyway.
Wash my hair, like
emails.
Whatever show just came out with the season number 5. Fuck, I think I'm gonna just stay in. I'm hungry, and then maybe he'll buy me DoorDash.
That's how it is.
So 90 days. First of all, let's explore, why do women hold back? Is it because they don't want to have the sex?
I think it's because, see, the 90 days only exists for males that they don't really want to fuck, right? Like when it's on and you're like, holy shit, this thing is not someone I can put into a box. This is I don't even know where to put this guy, right? I think this is a man. You're not going to want to leave that opportunity. Go, no, you know what? I'm going to let you simmer for 90 fucking days, right? No, that doesn't happen in the history of sex, right? It's like, I want to see if this is real deal. I want to bite the gold, right? I want to see if it's real gold or fool's gold, because I'm having a feeling that this is real gold, right? But all the other options, so to speak, it's fool's gold, and therefore you put it on the back burner to keep it warm for 90 days to see if it like possibly maybe like 4% chance turns into something, and because life offers surprises sometimes, right? But the pattern, most likely than not, it doesn't. It turns out to be like, oh, you know what? I had a feeling you were going to go into box C, and you landed right in box C.
Wow. Lily, have you ever, well, not now, of course, but was there ever a time where you were like, I don't want to do this too quick because he's going to think I'm a slut?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Because I have a lot of male friends as well. And so I would overhear certain things. And it's like, and I like the way you opened it by saying, well, a lot of these standards were created by them. And it's the hypocrisy. It's kind of like the whole BBL thing. Like, can't stand them. Oh, my God, they're nasty. But then that's all you're following. And so for women, it's confusing because it's like, okay, they say they don't like it, but when I grab my man's phone, that's all I'm seeing. So I'm kind of confused. So it's the same thing with this type of topic. It gets confusing to women because it's like, no, I won't think badly of you. But then on the flip side, it's like they'll say something else, whether it's about somebody else that gave it up too soon. I've never had no one throw it in my face, but I have overheard them say things about other people, and I'm like, but that's what we did, you know? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay. And the thing is, that's not even, and it's not true. It's just not true. I've done both, and it didn't affect the relationship either way. And that's why I say at this stage of my life, if I'm feeling it,
I want to put No Saint in the hot seat.
And then I've got a question for you ladies.
Okay. No Saints, I know you had 3 boys, 3 beautiful little boys. If and you had a daughter, would you want her to wait 90 days when she was dating? Okay, no specific age. I don't know. Some girls start having sex at 16, some start at 18, some start at 21. Would you want her to wait it out with the guy? Or it's okay if she's feeling him, they get down with the dude? Would you feel like she should wait?
Well, you know, I had to put myself in it for a second just to think, how would I be? And my first thought was, I don't care. I mean, I really don't care if they wait 90 days or, you know, make your own decision. But at the same time, maybe it's not a great idea to go on the, you know, do it on the first date, not at a young age. But like you said earlier, the older you get, the less you care, because you realize, you know, it's a different situation once you get in a space, you get to a certain space in life, you know, like you're not looking to have, you know, you're not looking for kids, you're not, you know, all these different things. But when you're young, there is that listen, if you get pregnant, or even for a guy that gets a girl pregnant, if he's taking care of business, it is going to change your direction of life. So it's a lot different for younger. But like, I'm not this person that thinks, oh, daughter's sacred, like your daughter's more sacred than your son when it comes to sex. I mean, it just is what it is. You know what I mean? So I'm not sitting there. I don't want to put a different standard on either one. And I've talked to, you know, my boys and say, listen, you know, protect yourself, wear a condom, for different reasons, diseases, you know, or you don't want to get someone pregnant. And I said the same thing, because it will change your life. It will, anything you're planning to do is going to be different now. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. But no, 90 days is ridiculous. And I mean, as far, if you're making a rule, the rule's ridiculous. I don't care how long you wait, but it's just like some kind of, and as far as that guy that was on your video, it's so shallow. They're so dumb. It's so shallow. It's like, what do I get out of it? You get a conversation and get to know her, just like she's getting to know you. That's what you get out of it.
An experience, exactly, with another human being.
Yeah, I mean, it's so dumb. Like, I'm spending my money. What am I getting out of it?
Right. And it reminds me, it's like the counterpart of what they're calling the modern woman, right? The modern woman is not traditional. She's not submissive. She's not feminine, blah, blah. But then, in my opinion, the modern man is this guy who's penny pinching for the most minute reasons, a date. Something that's like, you don't even think about it. Hey, you want to grab some dinner? You want to go to a show? Like, let's go, you know what I mean? Hook up and hang out. Now it's a big deal. Well, what am I going to get out of it if I take you to Capitol Grill? And he's naming Capitol Grill. I'm like.
Yeah, when he named Capitol Grill, that hurt my ears. I was like, really? Like,
where is Capitol Grill?
They're
all over. Yeah, they're all over the place.
That's a
but
chain?
I'm just like, you know.
That's funny you say that, because I just heard one of the only reason I'm saying this is because that's the second time I've heard this Capitol Grill tonight. The other time was a player the Saints drafted. They went up to Clemson and they took all the players to Capitol Grill. I'm like, okay, Capitol Grill. I wonder if that's a fancy restaurant or something.
Like, it's
for some people.
Yeah.
You know, I like how my brother handled his stepdaughter, because like she kept bringing these guys around, like, oh my God, here's my boyfriend. Oh my God, here's my boyfriend. Oh my God, my boyfriend. And my brother was like, listen, like, I'm gonna need you to stop introducing me and your mother to all these guys, and she was like, "What are you calling me a slut?" And he was like, "No, I'm saying that we're too old to remember these names." And so, just to know, like, I don't care what you do with them because you're a grown woman and that is your business, but vet them out before you come introducing them to us, because now we're going to have to get to know them. It's just a lot of time, and then we got to learn their name, and then 2 weeks later you're bringing another one and it's another name. We can't remember all these names. But he didn't make her feel like something was wrong with her because she's dating. She's young, she's pretty, she has tons of options, and she's dating. He was just like, keep some of that to yourself, and then as you vet them out, then you can start introducing them to us. So I do like the way he handled that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I talked to my daughter, and I told her to just listen to her instincts, right? And I was listening to her tell me stories, and her instincts are good. Like, she knows how to smell out a leader, and how to smell out, and well, I mean, the obvious of the opposite, you know, of just like guys who don't know how to make moves, don't know how to talk, don't know how to lead, and you know. And this one boy that she likes, that she, you know, hangs out with the most, he leads. Like he's like, look, we're gonna do this. Let's go here. We're doing that. Like, and checks in with her, make sure she's okay, right? Like, so it's not like blinds leading, right? And I was like, yeah, and so she's describing the situation to me. I say, you know, girl, just listen to your instincts, right? They seem to be spot on.
Exactly.
The question that I wanted to ask you, ladies, is: have you ever been with a non-judgmental man?
Yes.
All right.
And that particular guy actually was the beginning of helping me to come out of that, of judging myself around the things that I like sexually.
You haven't had Jen, have you?
If I was with a judgmental man, I didn't know.
Oh, no, I said non-judgmental.
Oh, non-judgmental.
Yes.
I would not know, because I think people go with the flow, and then after they're like, oh, I didn't like that. Like, I've been with guys that I've tried to introduce different, like, I don't want to call them kinks because I'm not that well versed, but just like little freaky things, and they're like, no, I don't want to do that. No, so I'm sure after we broke up, they probably told the next woman, look, I dated this girl and she wanted me to put a gun in her head, and I was like, no, I can't do it. You know what I mean? So maybe after, like, maybe not in my face, but I'm sure after I scared a couple guys, like, and you know, and I'm probably some story now. I'm probably some ex-girlfriend story now to some new woman. But no one's ever directly. Well, no, that's not true.
Well,
I think
did
my
you ever
first
get a
relationship.
sense of being judgmental?
Yes.
I would say my first relationship.
Or a sense of non-judgmental. So the reason why I asked this, because you both said something about that little thing that happens, that tricky little thing that's like, well, if I don't make him wait, I don't want to be perceived as a slut, right? And the thing is that the only ones who will perceive you as a slut are average males who are just trying to sleep with you, right? Who are obsessed with pussy. And it's funny because they're the ones who are going to be first to judge a woman for her sexuality.
Damn.
They're always the first ones to judge for their sexuality. The guys who get ass but don't worry about ass, they don't prioritize it, and they're very open and non-judgmental, they're the ones who can easily call a woman slut, and it puts a smile on her face. Right? She doesn't mind coming from that guy because she gets a sense that he doesn't actually mean it. Right? Or he means it in a loving way.
Interesting. Hello, Heron DeMarco.
Hey, sis, what's going on? How you doing, brother?
What's going on?
This is how you feel, man. It's a 90-day rule. I'm sorry, I'm not privy to this. I'm so many fucking this shit.
You never heard.
Let me tell you something. Look at the top row. Look at the top row of the panel. Look at the bottom. Why do the guys on the bottom look like it's first 48 and they're about to interrogate? Okay, the suspect. They both look like detectives at First 48. What is going on with y'all? The
Now you got me
colors and
wanting to watch
everything. The
It's one of
colors
those
and
nights. I
everything.
guess it's one of those nights.
I see. Lily was like, I'm coming in the shades. I'm like,
I'm like, man, I mean, it was just one of those nights, man.
It is one of those nights.
I'll do better
Winning
next week, man. I promise.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, y'all both look like you're at the pit, especially No Saint.
They leave No Saint alone. He probably done saved like 3 cats, put somebody on his back.
You see, like got the badge and everything. Yeah. So this kid, you know what I mean? I'm sure he's a kid. Talking about, yeah, I take you to Capitol Grill. Like I was like, oh, he's so cute. Like when he said that, I was like, oh, aren't you the most darling little thing? Capitol Grill, right?
Is that like what's that Italian chain?
Macarob. Is that like
okay?
Olive Garden?
It's not as simple as Olive Garden. It's like above.
It's a national chain.
It is. They have them all over the place in different cities. It's that, yeah. It's not like Lowry's. It's Capitol Grill. It's like the go-to. It's like above, I would say above Red Lobster.
Right. Anything's a national chain. It cannot be 5-star. It just cannot be.
It's. I guess I don't know. Maybe they deem it expensive, like because he did say, "You want me to take you to the Capitol Grill?" I'm like,
And he is young, and that's his
right, and that's why I want to be fair. I want to be fair because I'm not thinking the way a 20-something-year-old woman is thinking anymore, right? So I want to be fair. Like women in their 20s are probably like, no, I don't want to sleep with him too fast because he's going to think I'm a slut, and I don't. But again, men made that world.
I don't.
They did. They led it that way.
I just wonder when we can get back to a space where we could just concentrate on the chemistry, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? All these rules and all this stuff and all this arguing. I mean, I feel like I'm having our first 3 arguments in the relationship before we even meet each other. Like, we haven't even sat down and had a conversation.
That's good point. What do you bring to the table? 90-day rule. It's like
because they start off with a negotiative energy.
Right.
So that means, and negotiative energy is so high up on the surface level of things, right? I mean, it like skims across the surface, right? So, but you know, when you're a man and you understand like about yourself and you have a lot of self-esteem and you know how to like comfortably communicate with a woman, you can either just dig right down and start talking to her instead of at her. See, that's the problem, is that, shout out to Steve the Dean, but he always talks about this where he's like, so many guys, they talk at women, right? Just bouncing stuff off of her surface, right? Instead of talking to her, penetrating the surface. But in order to do that, you have to look past her tits, look past her ass, look past her clothes and her pretty hair and her makeup and her lips and all that. You look past it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. And you talk to her, right? And then she starts feeling it's like, oh, this guy is like actually like looking at me. Oh, right. And then that changes her up, and then you drop right into chemistry, right? And that's that, and then you start creating the chemistry because you're the chemist as the man.
And that's the real thing, man. Because look, listen, I've just
Are you the chemist, No Saint?
He's No Saint's brewing meth back there.
Exactly. Allegedly.
My goodness. The Clue Channel, how are you, sir? Welcome to the block.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question. Don't laugh at me. I know you're going to laugh at me, but what is the 90-day rule?
Okay, no, we're not going to laugh. No, we're not going to laugh.
Aaron didn't know either.
That's a good question. The 90-day rule is when women do not sleep with a man for 90 days because she doesn't want to be deemed, fast, easy, a slut. So she makes him wait 90 days. So now men are like, well, if I have to wait 90 days for sex, then you have to wait 90 days before I spend money on you or take you on a date or take you to Capitol Grill. So now men are pushing back and they're like, well, you got to wait 90 days too. And then they're both stuck there waiting 90 days because he wanted ass and I guess she wanted a steak.
So I guess everybody's just sitting there for a whole quarter, just holding their wallet and their pussy. And this goes where? Like, is this a game of chicken? Is this some sort of game of chicken? Some shit like that.
What they really should be doing is not easily putting their dick on the market and saying, no, you got to earn this dick.
Nice. Where's that guy at? Where's that guy at?
That's what I'm saying.
So look, listen, to the point that Justin is making. Every woman knows within 5 minutes of meeting a man if a dude is pressed or not.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If she gets pressed energy from you, she's going to treat you like a pressed guy. And you're most likely going to be a dude waiting for 120 days for some ass. You know what I mean? So now if she knows that you're not a pressed dude, that's going to make her want you even more. Just chill out, man. You know, chill out, get to know each other, create the chemistry, create the movement. Men have to know how to get back to leading in the dance. It's a dance. It's a mating dance, man.
So
what do we get back to understanding and learning how to lead?
So what are we doing during this 90 days if we're not?
I have no idea.
Having
not going out and fucking. That's one of the things I'm sure. You know, that's not happening. No one's doing it.
What do we do? I just take you out on dates and just buy you
to know her, getting to know her, I guess. I mean, but to put that rule is unnatural and it's inorganic. So it's like already, to me, it's a form of soft game in a way. When things are not organic, you're like, okay, I got to do this in order to get this result and this in order to get that result. That's kind of like manipulating something instead of just letting it be. I just want to know.
Let me clarify. Let me clarify, Lily. That's not game. That's playing games. There's a very big difference. Having game is having complete knowledge of yourself as a man and being able to express who that is and tap into her core. That's game, right? But a lot of guys don't have game. They play games and then they become manipulators and they think they got game, but really they're just goofing around. They're just being losers.
So Mark Randall says, if I'm really into her, I'm probably ain't sticking around after date 5, and we ain't getting romantic. And also,
date 5.
How many dates are we assuming are happening within the 90 days? Because that changes things as well.
You see, I don't like that rule. I don't like the rules, period, because it can be for anybody, like the age group, where you are in your life, the chemistry, so many things are at play. So to have a rule is just weird.
It's almost like chemistry goes out the window.
Right.
I just want to say one thing, man, to all the men watching. You'd be amazed what kind of woman you'll have on your hands. You can just make a woman feel free, man. When you can just make her fucking feel free, free of judgment, free of this 90-day whatever nonsense, whatever this is. It's free. That's why I didn't know what the hell this was. Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
you didn't know either? I thought I was the only one.
No, I don't know, because I don't enforce these things. I go into a situation like, look, listen, I've slept with women on the first date. I've taken some time. I've taken some time after that. It's whatever happens. I'll go where I want the date to go, or wherever it goes itself. You know what I mean? It's like playing music, man. Sometimes you can be the conductor, but sometimes you gotta let the music play itself. Yep. And it creates a situation, man. Just again, learn the dance, go with it, flow with it. Stop listening to these guys telling you, you know what I mean, you should be doing this, and if you don't, you're a beta and you're an alpha and all that other nonsense. Just stop, man. Just stop. All this stuff is impractical.
They're afraid to lose, right?
And that's it.
So the guys, most males don't even have a pinch of the so-called options that women have, even though the options that women have aren't really options, because you don't really want most of them, right?
Very true.
That's real game. That's game right there.
Jen tells me that all the time. She said,
right. Most women are single as fuck because they really just want a man and they don't have
as fuck. Not even single as fuck. And it's not for lack of suitors. In my phone, it's just, I don't want to hang with you. I don't like what you talk about. Are you funny looking? I don't know. You're too busy. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm telling you this. I mean, but they're all here. Right, they're all here, but like what Mr. Justin said, I'm like, wash my hair, watch Game of Thrones again, or go get dressed and go on this date. Wash my hair, watch Game of Thrones again, or go on Game of Thrones. Yeah. At least see the dragons.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is that what I was saying is that these guys, these average guys that are of that option pool, they're all really afraid to lose the smidgen of options that they get. Right? Because they have no game, right? They have zero talking skills. They have zero appreciation and expression of themselves, right? Because they're afraid of disappointing the woman who's in front of them for that moment that they're like, oh my gosh, that's where they get I got lucky, right? They always feel like they got so lucky, and then they try to play it off because they're like, oh man, if I show that I feel like I'm lucky, then she'll think I'm weak. Well, it's like, dude, she already thinks you're weak. She knows you're weak.
Yep.
Because she knows that you don't have, you're not desired by the woman. She knows it.
So am I being unrealistic because oh my God, maybe I'm being unrealistic because I have very little pity for men who act that way. Because I'm like, motherfucker, if a woman rejects you, just say bye and go on to the next one.
Sure.
Just say bye and go on to the next one. So am I being unrealistic because he's like, no, this is the one that I got to get because I don't know when other three are coming, right? So I need to hold on to this. Is that what it is?
That's his flaw.
It can be another 6 months before he actually out again, and he's like, oh man, I really want to get laid. Like, so it becomes this like almost obsessive sort of thing, right?
Okay.
Right? See, the problem with women, a lot of lose that. The problem with a lot of you women, and I think I've told both of you this.
What do you mean, you women?
You women,
all of women, all of them. I'm being a bit misogynistic tonight.
Let's have it.
With you guys is that the concept of the ideal male that you have. I'm not saying it's not existent. I'm just saying that it's very few and far between. Mm-hmm. Most men are not that. And it's your biological imperative that wants you to be with that guy. Absolutely. Yes, you want to be with the strongest guy. You want to be with the best suitor, so on and so forth. And you want to be with the best genetic material to pass on your genes, so on and so forth. It's biological. I'm not saying it's wrong. But what I'm saying is that ain't a lot of guys. Most guys are them guys that you turn down in your DMs. It's not that it's fucked up. It's just that, this is just most guys. And another thing too, that I'm of the school of thinking that a man should begin practicing how to deal with women as early as 16 or 17. You know what I mean? You got these men out here who are just starting 30, 40, some at 50. And it's like, dude, like you're trying to play catch up and cram in maybe 20 or 30 years of trial and error. And within that time span, you're trying to find the woman of your dreams. And it's like the math is not really on your side, most of the time. So, hey, look, man, I've said stupid shit. I've made mistakes. I have failed. Yes. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. It's a part of the learning experience and so on. But I did all those things way before my fucking 20s and, a deal of my 20s. So when I grew into adulthood further, I understood how to control the dance. I understood where this is going before it even goes there. You know what I mean?
Well, so you mentioned the thing about like what's in a woman's idealized fantasy, right? Mm-hmm. The problem is that guys hear this and it gets into their mind, right? And and it goes one of two ways. Either they go, "Oh, I'm not that. Fuck her," right? Or they go, "I'm gonna try my best, my darndest, to get as close as possible to that fantasy ideal," right? Which means you are following. You are reacting to her. She's saying, I like this. And you go, I don't like that. Or you say, I'll try to be that. Right. Which means she is leading you without even saying much to you.
That makes sense.
right?
And that shit always dies. It always fucking dies, and you see that fucker go right back to who the fuck he is.
Yep.
Always.
So
I've seen it.
When you're a man, right, you don't listen to any of that, right? When you got game, and I define what game was, because it has nothing to do with her. It has to do with the men. That's what game is all about. You replace her fantasy. That fantasy goes away and it becomes you. And she's like, oh, you're the dude. You're the guy that I've been, right? And it's like that, those idealized things, they just melt away. And all she can do is think about you.
You know what? You on to something.
Right? Right?
Yeah,
it's only when she's surrounded by average males who are fitting into all these boxes and she goes, oh, I don't want all that. I want this thing that's in my mind, right? But it's like when a real mother effer, my girl doesn't like me swearing out here like this. But so yeah, say what's up to my girl. How you doing? So when you're real like that, you replace those fantasies, and then you become the object of her desire and worship.
Absolutely, man. Like I say it all the time on this channel, man. Stop spending so much time pressed about the female gaze, man.
Yeah.
Understand who you are as a person and who you are as a man, and you'll find whatever you need to find. You know what I mean? If you go on your own path, there's not enough stressing about. Let me ask you something, Mr. Justin.
Yeah.
The guys that you meet that you coach and so on and so forth. I'm just asking, like, out of every 5 guys, how many actually really put in the work? I'm just curious.
Who put in the work with me? Most of them.
Like maybe 5 guys. Out of 5 guys, like, do all of them put in the work? Or maybe like 2 out of 3.
Out of 5, I'd say 4. Yep,
that's a good number.
That's good number. Yeah.
I mean, like like all the clients that I've had only 2 drop off, and because they were too emotional. Right, they couldn't handle me pressing them on themselves. Like I'd take the mirror and like shove it in their face, and they couldn't handle it, and they took emotional defensiveness to it, and they got really irate, they got defensive, and I'm like, they're like, I can't do this. I'm like, all right, here's your refund. I'll see you.
Oh, they were born.
Are you a dating coach, sir?
I mean, I used to be, but now I deal more with relationships and
okay,
and BDSM.
BDSM, I know about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Jen knows I know about that.
I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing
last
about
time
what
I was on your show.
Wait a fucking minute, okay?
Remember the circle? Remember the circle thing?
I remember dab circle. I made you a highlight in my gallery. Let's just clarify.
I know a little bit about that.
That's a BDSM technique. I've never heard of that. Like dab circle.
Dab circle.
We don't have to go into that if you don't want.
Mark Randall, I hope you're being sarcastic because it's not about pheromones and catching your scent and things like that.
I believe it's all about pheromones. If she catches your scent and she likes it, she's gonna be what?
This guy's the dude who buys the pheromone cologne off of Amazon.
What? Do you buy Spanish Fly too at the gas station?
Yeah. With the gas station pills.
Yeah.
Rhino.
The gas station pills with the Spanish Fly.
Oh, he said 100. He meant it. He says you got to make it clear you're romantically interested, not here for friends, to be wine and dining like a sugar daddy. You got to make it clear.
But now he's talking out of both sides of his face because he's asking questions about. Thing is, if she ain't getting romantic by date 5, she's friend zoning him. Time to back off. Date 5, right? So he's talking about 2 completely separate mindsets, right? So which means I think he's full of shit.
It's reminding me of the passport bros that say that they're going out of the country to find a wife, but it's like, no, you're just going to get some pussy.
I don't know. Maybe it's a New York thing. In New York, we're usually fucking by date 2. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a New York thing. I don't know. But, hey, to each his own, man. You go ahead, Mike. You tell him that. You tell him what you're there for, man. That's right. Ain't no bullshitting around here. I mean, nobody's sugar daddy.
I've never had a one night stand. I think everyone's had a one night stand. I've never had a one night stand. I had something else.
What did you? Oh,
what's
Jesus
that? Something
Christ.
else?
I had something.
She had a 2 night stand.
A 2-night stand. Okay.
Let me guess. That's what you usually have. That's what you usually have, Jay.
What? What do I usually have? I've never had a one night stand in my life.
I'm not gonna get into that.
Okay, I've never had a one night stand in my entire, and here's why. Just basic biology. I've never met a guy at a club or a bar that had me going that bad, where it's like, wow, this chemistry is unbelievable. Because I think when you have a one night stand, it's because you met that person and it's like, oh fuck, look at this chemistry, like, and you got that animal, that animal attraction. It's like, yo, I don't even want to wait.
You never experienced that?
Well, let me tell you what I did experience. Let me get there because I'm getting there. Okay. So, I met a guy at this gig. Never met him, but we had mutual friends because we were all working on a project together. And he's the guy I told you about that sat behind me. Like, he said a couple things to me and then sat behind me, and I was like, for some reason, he's very good, but he knows a lot. He reads a lot. He knows about the art of this and the art of that, and very well versed in body line, all of that. I didn't know that. By the way, he's the shortest guy that I've ever dated. Okay. So that whole height shit out the window, right? But it goes back to what Mr. Justin said, where in your mind, you have this fantasy of the perfect guy, right? And here comes this guy. He's almost my height, says a couple things to me, and then leaves me alone. He just sits down behind me. And I was like, so he's not going to say nothing else? So that's the fucking game? I was like, he's not going to say nothing. I'm fucking cute. Like, I'm the cutest girl on set.
I always play on that.
What the fuck? So he's sitting behind me, said a couple things. He was like, okay, you're very polite, sat behind me. So that night we shot a long day, as you know, on being on set, almost fucking 12 hours. So we talked here and not really talked a lot. So we all went to dinner after. Long story short, we all went to dinner after, the whole crew. And one of the guys, the guy that hired me, he was like, oh, Jen, I'm going your way after blah, blah. I know you live in the Bronx or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. And then he was like, no, I'll take her. And I was like, I don't even know you like that, but okay. He was like, no, because I'm leaving now anyway. So I was like, I didn't ask anyway. So we hung out for a while. I'm talking about fucking hours. I'm talking to this guy hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And it went down in the fucking car.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
It went down in the fucking car. It was fucking insane. And then after, he's like, oh, hey, I'm going to go visit my friends in Jersey. You want to come? And I was like, okay. So we went to his friend's house in Jersey, and we're on the floor playing with the friend's kids and hanging out with the friend. The friend happened to be a little person. It was a very crazy night. Because we pulled up to the friend's house and his friend opened the door and he's 3 feet tall. It's a little person. And he just breaks into.
They keep getting shorter.
I was about to say, like,
no, it's crazy. He freaking. I'm in the car.
Dropped 12 inches.
It's crazy. I'm in the car and he opens the door. He was like, we represent the lollipop. And I was like, what the fuck is happening tonight?
It's a trippy night.
It was real. It was real trippy without the drugs.
I was about to say, thank God you weren't on acid.
It's crazy because we spent like hours together, and the chemistry was through the roof. And he was very nonchalant and casual. He didn't act like he wanted busy. He didn't. And we, for many years after, we stayed involved with each other many, many years after. So it's not always like, oh, if it happens on the first night, you're never going to see me again. Like sometimes it happens that way. Sometimes it just happens that way.
And I'm pretty sure maybe sometime during that week, some 6'2", 6'3" guys shot his shot and he got shot down.
Exactly.
Exactly. All 5 foot of them on stilts. And you know what I mean? Got some fucking action. I swear these guys out here just like,
listen, I think
people are winning out here, man. Like,
I think it's because we spent all that time together, and then watching each other, it was like a speed relationship where we were both in situations where he saw me interact with my family and my friends and my work, and vice versa. I saw him interact with his family and his work. And then it's like we were like just kicking in, and we had dinner together. It was like a speed relationship. So by the time the sun went down, and I was like, I want you.
Like, listen, I just want to say something. Fellas, stop underestimating the power of one thing. It's even more powerful than your penis. A woman's fucking mind, okay? When a woman has a perception about you, man, I don't give a fuck how tall you are, what you are, broke you are, whatever. If she has a perception in her mind, she said, that's my baby, that's my everything, so on and so forth. In that moment, man, listen. Now, when that perception breaks, and she sees you clearly,
right? The filter gets lifted. You're like,
I'll drink to that. Sherelle's in the building. Hi, Mama. Good to see you.
But to Jen's original point about the like leading, like what did you say? What was that thing you said? Like all the things that you got, you got yourself here or something like that. To the guys who have like terrible situations.
The guys who got in this naughty route, like
they've created the shitty situations that they're in. Okay, Haran, you just described it. When that perception breaks, it's because of his behavior, right?
Exactly.
She didn't change. She's been following and reacting to you the entire time, right? And you changed up, and or your mask slid off. Right. And because you're trying to be something that you're not, and then you couldn't keep it up for that long. Right. And then you get lazy, get complacent or whatever. And then she's like, oh, I can see you now totally differently. And maybe it's still real him. Maybe they both are real him, but now it's just she's responding to this you now.
Right.
And it doesn't turn her on. Right.
Right.
And she's like, all right, I gotta go. Like
doesn't leave a trail. Doesn't leave a trail when she walks.
Rodville said he was giving you that Prince and Purple Rain with Apollonia game. It was but it was the only time in my life it's the only time. Like I've never had a one night stand. I was because I've never met, not because I'm against it, but I've never met a guy at a bar or at a club that had me hot and bothered and is like, oh, I want to see what you look like with your shirt off.
It could happen again, Jen.
I'm young yet, baby. Again. You damn right. You
it could happen again.
Here. I'll drink to that. Here.
I think personally, I think that a lot of men are currently, and I hope they get over this. I think a lot of men are not comfortable who they really are, because this perception that they're told what they should be, a lot of them don't live up to that. So they're afraid to be who they really are, and you shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's beautiful.
Fuck this perception that these motherfuckers put on you or whatever, these ideas that people put on you. Be yourself, man. Be yourself.
But that shows shows self-rejection, right?
Yes.
When you're doing things to yourself, or you're presenting in any way, verbally, your visual presentation or whatever, that isn't you, that means there's a bunch of self-rejection there. Okay. And
we're going to pick up on that.
Yep, you're good. Yep, exactly. They're going to pick up on it, right? And then you'd be like, damn, this guy he doesn't believe in himself. Like, this isn't a man. This is just a grown male, right?
And that's
like a boy.
I really want to nail down that pause, that comment that Haran made, because it is a beautiful thing, not only for men but for women. Like, be your fucking quirky, awkward, nerdy, sexy, slutty, whichever one of those words suits you or fits you. Be that, please. If you're a freaky bitch, you want fucking be that. If you're a quote unquote corny and you collect comic book characters, be that. Be it.
Jen, tell them how sexy a corny man who owns his corniness is.
That's right.
So
very sexy. Very, like a guy who's corny and knows he's corny is like, this is what I am. I bought a new Batman mask. Be that.
Yes.
And it was like $800 and he keeps it in a glass case.
Be that, because you will find a woman that's just gonna love that you love who you are.
Yes. Right.
That's it.
There you go. That's
by
it.
the way, I have a Funko
Jen,
Pop
Jen, I
collection.
gotta go. Thank you. Thank everybody
right.
on the panel.
Thanks for
Bye,
coming
Clue.
by.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah. He's actually got the mic that I want to get. I'm going to be getting that one.
The Shure. I was looking at it too. I was like, should I have got that mic?
I have that
well,
one.
I got a friend
who's
who's a pianist, and I was asking him about mics, and he's like, "Yo, you got to get yourself a Shure." So,
Oh,
Shure
absolutely.
is
Absolutely. Those are industry standards, especially particularly for live performances and broadcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so Mark Randall is still on that date 5. He says, if you're still investing a lot in her after no romance, aka sex, by date 5, religions aside, she's gonna see us as low value and a best friend, or she's using you. Gotta back off and make her come to you. What is it with you in date 5, Mark?
That is never ever going to happen. Mark, I can tell you speak from very little experience, because the thing like, oh, you got to back off, make her she come to you. What, like, how many like goofy YouTube videos do you watch about
not the goofy YouTube videos?
Yeah, it's all like just the generic stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if she's not responding, just back off for 3 days and see if she comes to you. It's like, oh man, you set up that whole situation all on your own. Like, there's what was that? What was it that he said? What was that he said? If you're still investing a lot in her, no, she should be investing in you.
Hello.
Because you're the man, right? And you're rare, right? Males have to invest, right? They have to, they're like, oh, me, pick me, look at me, look what I got, look at what I can do. And they start like, they're like a little dancing monkey, right? And then so they invest their time, their resources, their money, or whatever it is that they have, right? They invest into that to try to get her to pay attention to him. Right. But when you're a man, it's more like, you have to work for my curiosity. Once you get my curiosity, you have to get my interest. After you get my interest, you got to get onto what I deem as the program of my life. And I got to see if you can fit into that and see if you can work up and, reach higher levels within that. You're the one that's going to be investing in me. Right. But the guys typically don't have enough self-love and self-respect to have that position and just comfortably sit there and allow her to say no. And you say, okay, that's totally fine. Right. Here's my number, or keep my number, and you can come back whenever you want. But understand, if you do, you might be sitting the bench because someone else might have taken your spot,
So thank you for the super chat, Don Levon. Don Levon says, the only 90-day rule I'll abide by is we'll date for 90 days. If we don't like each other, or if we aren't going anywhere, we'll stop dating. What do you think about that?
Justin, what do you think about this why do you think, or I guess what place do you think this lack of self-respect comes from? That you see when you deal with these dudes.
Just growing up that way, like you learn it by seeing it, by experiencing it, right? So unfortunately, a lot of it comes from childhood stuff. You know what I mean? Having parents talking down to you, or at the very least, not having parents talk you up, right? So you've got negative reinforcement and positive reinforcement. So negative reinforcement, it can either like crush somebody, or you can use it in a way to remove behaviors that you don't want. Okay. So, and Haran, you probably know about this, like when dealing with like in DS dynamics, but also if you want to have if you want to see something that's not there, use positive reinforcement. And you're like, all right, good job. And you reinforce what you want to see, but you don't have people growing up with this regularly in their lives. Right. So they don't get a good sense of self, like, oh, this is good. All right. This makes me feel good. And then they grow this sense of self and self-value and self-awareness and awareness of self to actually value, right? But instead they get caught into looking outside themselves to create something that they think will be appealing. And they spend the rest of their lives hoping to get the validation from other people, namely women, right?
And also, I want to add to that we, society, but there's so many images of men and women that millions of people try to live up to, whether it's on the woman's side or the man's side. Like society picks like, this is what sexy is. This is what a sex symbol is. Like, why are people still, I don't care who gets offended, but why are people still putting up fucking pictures of Marilyn motherfucking Monroe on their wall? The bitch is dead. She's been dead for decades. And yet, decades later, people are still telling women and young girls, this is the epitome. That's why she's on the wall. Might as well be the white fucking Jesus. It's just like men, the Marlboro man. Women like the man with the beard and the cowboy hat. So then men, and then insert the 666. So there's a bunch of people out there, just like in school. Like, you can't put 30 kids in a school and expect them to do well when they're all so different. It's just like men and women. You can't expect to make Kim Kardashian and Marilyn Monroe the epitome, and the majority of women don't look like that. And a lot of them don't want to look like that. But men are looking for that. Well, you got to look like Kim Kardashian. You got to look like Marilyn Monroe. So then we grow up under that. Like, it's like,
you know what?
Everybody doesn't fit.
That goes back to the comment I made about, and it was kind of controversial. Like, there are a lot of males out there that need the validation from other males to know what woman they're supposed to date, right? Meaning, once he dates her, now she is the standard, because Diddy was with her and this guy was with her, but before she was just a regular waitress at Waffle House, right? But now that this man has put a stamp on her of an endorsement, now she's become the standard, instead of having, because that's really how these overinflated bodies became the standard. It was, they're following their favorite whoever. So
I get it to a degree, coming from a male perspective, particularly when you're young, when you're in your teens or whatever. I mean, yeah, of course, you want to be seen with the bad chick, you know what I mean? You want brothers to, like, be in awe and so on and so forth. But there has to come a time when you're not living for the validation of your boys. You know what I mean? Because if you constantly go down that path, you're going to constantly question, are you in the right career? Are you dating the right woman? Are you doing this? Are you doing all these things that the outside world agrees that you should be doing? And I've seen so many people go down that path, and they reach a certain point in their life, particularly now in their 40s or even close to 50s, where they say to themselves, I don't even know who the fuck I am.
Yep, they check, but they got all the boxes checked.
Yeah, and then they got the midlife crisis going on.
Right, because 90% of the decisions that I've made are based on what someone else said is the right thing to fucking do.
But look how easily Andrew Tate grew his platform and grew a following, a faithful following, where they were like, okay, you're the guy that has the Bugatti, the cars, the women, you know what I mean? You're the guy that does it. I want to be like you. And then they all ran out. They're not like him. I'm sure. And I'm sure, and I'll say this, I'm sure a lot of those guys can be great where they are with what they have.
Right.
If they just believed in where they are and what they have.
Yeah, which is really smart of Tate, because he tapped into that knowledge that most guys don't know who they are and don't like who they are. And then he used that as a funnel to make money off of them.
Right.
Right. I see this all the time on social media. All right. So there's this, what's her name? She's actually pretty famous, like on Instagram, and she slides in. You ever see the sliding girl for like relationships? No. Oh shit!
Tristan probably knows who that is, because Tristan knows a lot of.
What is her thing? But she's got this thing. Oh, Emily Wing King. It's Emily. I'm sorry, not Wing King. Sorry, Emily W King _. And she has this thing where she slides in like in front of a mirror. And she's got her phone, and she says these things where she caters to the average male, his fears, his concerns, and his pain. Right.
So she's burly things?
Well, in a more friendly and like bubbly sort of way.
Gotcha.
She's more friendly and bubbly, but yes, in the same vein. She'd be in the same neighborhood, right? But like a few blocks away. And the amount of comments, like you just look at the comments right? And you see the mentality of average males, and they're just like, oh my gosh, yes, all I want is a loyal woman, right? Oh my gosh, like I poured and invested everything, and then in the end she just left me, right? And it's like, no, a woman is going to leave an average male because you're easily replaceable, right? Easily replaceable. You're just a facsimile with like a slightly different color of the last dude. Seriously.
It's true.
But when she comes across a man, she's like, oh, and there's a pattern interrupt, right? There's a pattern interrupt. And she's,
yes.
what is this? How do I handle this?
Looking for that word.
How do I handle this guy? I can't, because he's handling me. Right.
Yeah.
And I don't even have to, and then after a while, your thoughts start going away. It's like, oh, he's just thinking for me. He's just doing for me. He's just leading me. Right. And all I have to do is just learn to trust him, you know, which naturally takes time for anyone. Right.
But I was looking for that word. I couldn't think of a word to describe the pattern interruption. Because there's been men who have come into my life, and prior to them coming into my life, I thought I wanted this, and then they interrupted my pattern with something new that I'm like, I didn't know I like this. Oh wow! And so yeah, they are rare. They are, but the other ones are dime a dozen. They're just.
So we can contend right now that you women are basically saying that women are attracted to quality and not necessarily quantity, because the math basically says that you're always going to have quantity, but you don't always have quality. See, with men, you know what I mean, you know, most of the times, unless we're in a particular situation, we don't have quantity of options and so on and so forth. Right. So with men, you know what I mean, but however, if one is prepared for a number of options as a man, and being prepared, I mean being well within yourself, knowing who you are, knowing how to move in those situations, then you can balance those options, and then you can move through those options without behaving like a famished dog or a famished animal. You know, and that's the problem a lot of times. I was saying to Jen earlier that a lot of these guys now, you know what I mean, the fresh and fit and the Andrew Tate market, a lot of these guys, you know, particularly if they're in high earning fields, a lot of them never really had strong experiences with women before they got money.
Yes, very clear.
A high paying job before they went out there, and you know, I mean, before that they were invisible. You know what I mean?
And now, because they had no game, they just made themselves into a mark.
That's just
they just made themselves into a mark by doing that.
Yes. Hello. But this is why when we had, if you recall, there was a gentleman up here many moons ago. And him and I got into a debate because he kept insisting, and Lily and I were saying, no, he's not. He kept insisting that Andrew Tate was charismatic. And the women on the panel kept telling him, no, the fuck he's not. He is not charismatic. What he has, he's cosplaying, right? That alpha, I got the Bugatti, I got the money. That dude would repulse me if I had to sit and speak with him.
Right.
He would fucking piss me off. He didn't have swag. He didn't have game. He didn't have like, I'm going to get into your head. You want to be with me? You want to fuck me because I got a car. I'm like, that is not charisma. It's not charisma. Stop telling women. We know it's not charisma.
He's just loud and he talks fast.
And he was like, no, he's charismatic. He's making, but and then his reason was, well, did you see him on that podcast? One of the women there didn't like him, and then by the end, she liked him. I was like, it's not because he's charismatic. It's because she's like, oh, he got what? Wait a minute, he's a little goofy, but wait.
I mean, I think it's even a bigger thing to consider the guy who's paying that much attention to another man.
Well,
right? I mean,
I didn't say it.
Like seriously, there's guys who worship other men more than they worship themselves, and even women, right? So these guys who previously worshipped women, right, because they can't really get them, so they're just like, oh my gosh, and they call them queens and princesses and all these things, right? Then people like, you know, like the F&F guys and Tate come along and they start shifting their focus and start worshiping these other men. It's like, why are you worshiping another man?
Is it because they're living is it because they're living vicariously through them? And it's like, I can't do it, so I might as well worship the guy who is.
They can't lead themselves, so they need to be led. So first they're being led by pussy, then they're being led by a dick, right?
Jeez, it's just being led back and forth, to and fro.
Right, exactly. Just like a leaf in the wind, right? Because they can't think for themselves. They're afraid to, because like my friend about the Republican thing, they're afraid to stand on something and someone's saying, I don't like that, right? Because they're so desperately in need of having someone accept them. So they're like, I'll be anything you want. I'm amorphous. I'm just like, you know, taupe. I'm not really a color.
Not taupe. I'm taupe. I blend with everything.
Exactly.
Right. Oh God.
That's what most guys are. You know, try it out. Go on a date and be something that you're really not. Right? Be like, you know, like Jen, you're like an outgoing, like adventurous person. It seems like, you know, like make it like you go out on a date, be like, you know what? I'm just a homebody. I'm actually, I collect like little ceramic kittens and I knit. I actually have a podcast about knitting and a massive fan base, and I run a Discord, and it's just all about knitting.
Right.
And if he's really into you, you'll watch him shift into you. He'll shift over into your lane to kind of side up with them. You're like, oh, that's really cool. I like that, you know? And
wait, but Scientology teaches that.
What do you mean?
Mirroring and shit. Like it's good to mirror people. Don't they?
I don't know.
I don't remember that
mirrored.
You don't remember that?
No.
I mean,
maybe I may. I think I'm getting that. Yeah, I'm getting that mixed up with the art of seduction.
Okay. I've heard of that before. I mean, that's just a conversational thing, like to mirror people, you know.
Right.
I've only heard that to be used in like job interviews, you know, where like the person like leans back and then you lean back. And they lean
Right. But that's not how I used to get my job interviews. I was just a New York kid and I would just be sitting there knowing damn well I lied on the resume and I didn't have a degree or anything like that. And I would just sit there and I would look around their office and I'm like, oh, this motherfucker likes hockey. How about them Rangers? Oh my God. And he's like, yeah, look, I like the Rangers. I was like, do you? Oh my God, that's a picture of that. Oh my God. You know, that I would do that type of thing, like just case the joint. You're like, oh yeah, I like, you know, color blue. Wow, that's a nice blue, you know.
No, but that's the way to do it actually, right? Because and
I didn't even know, I just did it.
With interviews as well as on dates, okay, guys treat it the same way, right? They stay on the surface and they deal with just information, right? And information isn't sexy. Information doesn't create that connective bond when you're conversing with someone, right? And so like on an interview, you want to like kind of ease it out of that information level and start getting to know them as a person, right? Look around where you're having the interview. It could be in an office or whatever, and you see little things. You see like, oh, they're like a little photo of them and they were like canoeing. And then you like, make a mental note. You know what I'm saying? You see like a little medal on the wall. All right, make a mental note. You see a painting of some, you know, something interesting. Make a mental, and you start bringing the conversation into about them, and get them, and then you start connecting with the person who's giving you the interview, and not necessarily about the information that's on the surface. Right?
That's how I used to do it. I'm like, because when people like you, they want you around.
Right.
So they're like, hey, she has a great personality. I'd like to see her every morning. Great. You know, and that's how it happened. I didn't really have a bachelor's degree. I just do
I was just about to say, I was not qualified for nothing.
When I'm like with guys and I tell them like about like going on dates, I give them a challenge and I say, you know what? Don't ask her any questions. And they're like, like they don't know what to do because they use questions to fill the air. You know what I'm saying? I said, true. Don't ask questions. Just tell her shit. That's it.
That's different.
Just tell her things. Don't ask her things. Because you don't want anything from her. Give her zero impression. Do you want anything from her? Because you shouldn't want anything from her, except for her to want you. right? And you do that by telling her things, right? Tell her about herself, right? Make assumptions. Right? If she says no,
that sounds like an interesting date,
right? And if you make a mistake, she says no, then that, you know, you just roll with that. You be flexible, you know what I'm saying? But you still push through, you still lead, and don't ask anything, right? But you know, that's another subject. Heron left, but he mentioned this thing about like, remember he said the thing about wild dogs? He's like, you're like guys getting with the woman, like acting like a wild dog. That you ever see the Batman movie with Heath Ledger?
Yes, of course.
Where he played the Joker. Oh, that was the best Joker. I wish Heath Ledger didn't die because like he's such a good actor. Well, he was. But he played the Joker, like he really, really got into the role. Like it started like affecting him mentally, I think.
Yeah.
There was a scene when he was sitting in the hospital with a burnt up Harvey Dent. And Harvey Dent has, you know, his face.
Yeah, Two-Face. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like a dog chasing cars, right? And he's like, I wouldn't know what to do if I caught one, right? And that's like why he does stuff. Like he's just this impulsive car chaser, but he's always about the chase. And he wouldn't even know what to do if he caught what he actually was after, right?
I've met men like that.
And I think a lot of guys are like that.
Yes, they are.
So have I. Coach Anthony, what's up, baby?
There's a lot of men like that.
There are men like that. It's like, okay, now I'm here. Now what?
They drop the ball. They drop the ball once they get the ball in their hand.
And then I'm like, okay.
Because actually, that kind of happened with my last relationship. He did the best. I mean, when I tell you, his dating and courting was on point. Like the best dating courting situation I've had in a long time. And then I'm like, oh, wow, you did a great job. And this was a conversation that we had too. I said, you did a great job dating me and courting me. But it was something you said earlier, Justin, but I realized after a certain time period that, there's a lot of distractions and pyrotechnics and everything like that. I'm really not getting to know the essence of him. So I was like, hey, we can strip down the dates so they're not as elaborate. And let's do more of the sitting at home watching a movie and talking. And then that's when I realized, like, it's not much else there.
Right.
So is that
is probably low too?
Yeah, it sounds like. Was the sexual attraction low? Sounds like.
The sex was good. The sex was good.
Really?
Oh, I was under the impression that you weren't sleeping with him.
Yeah, well, we waited, but when we started sleeping with each other, the sex was good. But we dated a lot. We went on. He was really, really good with dating.
So you experienced the 90-day, or not maybe exactly 90 days, but it was a number of days before there was any sex.
Yeah, and then part of that is because it was long distance as well,
okay.
So that added to the days. But
I think that has a lot to do with it. And you might have a different experience if there was, but you'd be no way to tell what the experience would have been if there was no distance. Right. It could have been something immediate, or there could have been the waiting again, in which case I would say that there just wasn't enough attraction there. Right. Because when there's high attraction, I said this before, a girl will fucking run over hot coals to spend time with you. And that's just what it is. It's the instinct of like, I need that man inside me. Right. And you do shit. You cancel plans with your girlfriends. You cancel plans with your mom, like ignoring phone calls and shit, just to make sure that you're available for that dude. Right. That's the real deal. And you don't have to invest shit, Mark. When you're that guy,
Mark is like, I'm not doing. What's up, ESO? Mark is like, I ain't doing after 5 dates, the bitch is done. 5
and I'm about to say, I can't even remember. But
it's like,
we did
shit, like the first date, if you haven't earned my interest, right? Because the curiosity goes on, takes my time and say, okay, we'll go get a drink, right? But if you don't have my interests during that, I'm sorry. Like it's done.
Yeah, no, we had really good chemistry. And for us to for that dating period and stuff like that. And we're still cool right now, but for us to live in 2 different cities, we actually did spend a lot of time together during the dating period. But then, like, once we took away all the fluff and the lights and the explosions and stuff and just had stripped it down to just 2 people, it was a struggle. It was a struggle.
No, you're not late, Coach Anthony. Coach Anthony says, I think the issue with Andrew Tate and others that push that mentality are speaking about a certain demographic of women, but don't do a good job making it clear that not all women are like that. And that's a lot of dating coaches online. Like, they make these blanket statements and then just send people out there in the most stupid. And I'm like, and it makes you ask, like, what women do you talk to? Because I don't. This is not working.
And that says to me that they're still dealing with women on the surface, right? Because if you have experience with dealing with women at their core, they're all the same. Because woman, like the concept, the essence of woman is the same in every single woman. They're all the same at the core. All the same.
What's that? Let me know.
It can't be known. It can be shown. That's it.
You said all women have the core. At the core, all women are the same. What's that same? What's the similarities? What is the core?
I'm saying it can't be told to you. It can't be known. It can only be shown. And it can only be shown to you by a man, because you can't get there by yourself. A man who knows himself can lead you to yourself.
And one of your girlfriends can't either.
Right.
It has to be another. It has to be a man.
The man, the masculine energy who's grounded and knows himself, connected to himself, has zero doubt in who he is, can lead you to you and take you past your own knowledge of self. And then you're like, holy shit, who am I when I'm with this dude? I'm becoming someone that I didn't know was available to me. Right. But guys don't have that experience. They deal with women on the surface and like, oh, she's like this. She lives in that area. She has this kind of job. She looks like this. She has this color skin. She's got this kind of hair. She, grew up in this, state. She went to this college. But that it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right?
I believe what he's basically saying, essentially saying, is that what a number of these guys are clinging to, their concept of a woman, is what they're reading in these books. Is it's a lot of surface level shit. It's a shallow understanding. It's a shallow and very minute understanding, as opposed to if a man is grounded within his own energy and understands his own sense of self. When a woman is around that kind of guy, her defenses drop. Her shoulders drop. When a woman is into you, when her shoulders drop, her pupils dilate, she becomes more, doesn't necessarily become, it's not more feminine, she becomes more weak. She becomes more
I would say more receiving.
Right, exactly. Right? Even
when all that surface stuff prevents them from receiving.
Even when you're fucking a woman, even when you're having sex with a woman, you can feel the submissive energy in your hands while you're inside her. You can feel her body receiving you, whether it's her legs spreading, all the way open, so on and so forth.
It's Freaky Friday in this bitch.
I'm talking real shit here, And a lot of men, they don't understand how to get to that space because they don't know how to get to that space within themselves. They don't know how to unlock that energy within themselves because they have a shallow understanding of themselves.
Right. They're just in it for the nut too.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. And this is one of the reasons why.
Ron, have you ever experienced crygasms? I mean, not yourself, but
yes, with my partner.
Crygasms.
Yeah, I've seen with my partner. Yes, I've actually asked for it on command, and they
right. So I'm saying because there's so much shit inside women. There's so much clutter and chaos and voices. They got their mom's voice in their head, their dad's voice in their head, they got their preacher's voice in their head, their friends' voices in their head, their 12 other fucking personalities' voices in their head.
I'm about to say, don't leave them out.
And it's a fucking cluttered, chaotic mess inside their brain. Okay. And it leads to a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, fear, anger, all this crazy shit. Okay.
Talk to him, just.
And I'm saying when you tap in through, and especially through sex, and you're able to access her core while you're having sex, you start breaking off that shit that becomes like this solid mass inside around their emotions, and it releases. And sometimes that turns into a crygasm where they cannot like really contain themselves anymore, and they turn into a sobbing mess, right? And it's a double-edged sword, because it's a sad thing but a beautiful thing at the same time, right? It's like, I'm sorry that even has to be there, but it's a beautiful thing that it's able to be released, right? And then now you become in this imprinted source of the relief of herself on herself.
Be her peace, baby.
That's why BDSM isn't about slapping a motherfucker around and
unless you're Andrew Tate, and
all these other shallow things. Like, one of the things that this is one of the reasons why in the BDSM world, I'm going to explain the scene. It's one of the reasons why you have to be very sure of yourself and understand that you always have to have control over the energy of the situation. You could be in the moment with a woman, and you can take it to a certain space and level and edge where she immediately just spontaneously just freaks the fuck out on you, to the point where it could just probably be scary.
Yeah.
And you have to know how to actually contain that. You have to know how to bring her back. You have to know how to do all those things. Most guys will freak the fuck out, probably run out the room. You know what I mean? Probably, dial 911. She really thinks she's probably having a seizure. You know what I mean? All kinds of shit. You have to understand how to control the situation. And again, none of this happens unless you work on yourself first.
Yeah, and then when that's really vulnerable, right? I was talking about positive reinforcement, okay? Sending commands while she's that vulnerable to repeat after you things that she doesn't believe in herself, right? So you make her say, I'm beautiful, right? Make her say, I'm worthy, right? Make her say, I'm valuable, so she can hear herself, because at that point, everything's opened up. Everything's opened up, because women also walk around with a lot of self-hate, a lot of self-doubt, right? And it's at that point of like extreme vulnerability where you just get right in and you say, repeat after me. And you just start like, as you're fucking like putting these affirmations in her mind, and it completely starts shifting their own, how they feel and perceive themselves, again, through you. And this is what I mean, Jen, by she can't get there by herself. Like, therapy is not going to take you there. Therapy does not do what I'm describing, not even close. A man can take her to herself, to places she doesn't even know exists.
Can I ask you ladies something?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you both something.
Yes.
Have you ever had a man actually tell you, I want you to read this list of, affirmations every day before you start your day?
No.
Has he ever given you a list of affirmations to say in order to ensure that your self-esteem was, where it needed to be, you were closer to the person that you needed to be, and you also you also had no issue with understanding the power of the freedom of being with him? Have you ever experienced that?
I know, right? I'm like, let me straighten this out here.
Right.
It's Freaky Friday.
Sorry, Harold. You're asking a really good question. And
now look, listen. I have an ex. My ex. Okay.
Is that what you do with your ladies, Haran?
Not all of them.
Okay.
I'm going to give you my ex. I'll give you an example of that. This is the one that I told you, Jen, that I wanted to put through college. And she declined because she didn't believe in herself. And I said, okay, no problem. We had a series of issues. She had but one of the main things that I always harped on her with her is that I always made sure that she had a series of affirmations that she told herself every day. And I asked, and I made sure that she said these things. And I said, say it to me. blah blah blah, and I made sure that she said it with passion. Now we broke up. We went our separate ways. That's a long story, whatever it is. I knew she continued to say these affirmations. She's in a place right now, mentally, physically, financially, that she was not in the place that she was before she met me.
Go ahead. That's the fuck I'm talking about.
And I'm not mad at that. And I'm not mad at that because clearly I created an effect on this woman without even being in the fucking room.
Right.
I'm no longer in this woman's life, and still, you know what I mean? I created an influence that she could take with her and go on to her next situation with, and God bless her.
Right. So I've never had that specific, but I've come close. And because of that, the person did leave my life better than the way they found it. I was a better person than, and it was, they did introduce things about me that I wasn't aware of, positive things. So it did come close. It does make a big difference.
Now, is that common in the, like, literally writing down or directing affirmations? Is that common in the DS world?
Yeah, the BDSM world. Yeah,
because you guys are both
into I say like maybe a week or two ago, instead of my own, I had her now write her own, right? Because it's even more powerful when put into your own words, right? So I had her kind of conditioning, being okay with the whole affirmation thing for a while, and then I was like, okay, now I'm assigning you to write your own, put it in your own words, and organize it the way you want to. And she made a whole list. I'm looking at it right here. There is 188 lines to this. Bullet points, 188 bullet points. Just a little sentence, and it's stuff like I hope to be worthy of such a great daddy. I'm lucky to have a shred of his attention. I act in accordance to his vision. I trust my Lord has my best interest at heart. I am divinely guided by him. His power melts me completely. I am always eager to prove my obedience to my Lord. My body twitches at the sound of his voice, right? These are things that she wanted for her own minds to have, for her experience of herself while in my presence, and even not in my presence.
Let me tell you something. This is just listening to you both. It's so healing for me, right? It's so, and no cap, because the majority of my life, with the exception of maybe one long-term relationship, I was constantly doing that for men, and then leaving them better, and giving them words of affirmation and building them up and talking. That's why I joke about talking life into a man. I'm like, I done raised more boys than their mamas done raised. I'm like, who the fuck raised you? Like, I felt like the adoptive mother. Like, come here, I'll fucking make you into a man. So and then you see people move on, and it's like they're doing better in their life or whatever. I wasn't as happy as Haran was about it, because I feel like I fucking blood, sweat, and tears, time, man hours, you know what I mean? Resources, money, creativity, a lot. So Haran, how do you feel? Like, Coach Anthony here is, and Mr. Justin, what's your Instagram page? Because Coach Anthony likes what you're doing, and I think he really should check you out.
Oh, cool. Yeah. It's Mr. Justin _X.
Mr. Justin _X. Coach Anthony. So Haran, what do you think about, he says you leveled her up and she left, LOL, joking, but even as a joke, because it wasn't a joke to me. I was like, bitch, I leveled you up, and now, I mean, someone else is enjoying the spoils. I didn't take it as well as you took it, Haran.
I don't, this might sound arrogant as fuck, but I'm on to the next situation.
Okay.
I'm on to the next situation, and it might be a situation where I don't have to level anybody up. It might be a situation where I do. I really don't care. You know what I mean? I tell you one thing though. None of my exes will not pick up the phone when I call.
Yeah,
all of them pick up the phone when I call.
The Coach Anthony thing. I mean, like, there's always a shred of truth in jokes, or else they wouldn't be funny, right? So there's some truth here. It's like LOL, joking. No, he's not.
No, he's not. I know what he's saying.
That's why I took the weight of it, because I'm like, I wasn't joking.
But
right.
you know what?
You leveled her up and she left. Okay, that comes from the same perspective as the dude with the weird dreadlock haircut. You know, his hair really looked like he was having an identity crisis. He had like regular hair in the front and then like dreads like 2/3 back.
That's the style. When he gets older, he's gonna look back at those pictures like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah, like choose one or the other, man. But anyways, that guy, it's the same mentality where it's like, what's in it for me? Right.
And that's just the whole thing.
You leveled her up and she left, right? So it's like, or the precursor is like, I will level you up, but what's in it for me? Right.
And the irony of
like, who cares? I'm sorry, like who cares if you leave? I am 1,000 complete within myself and do not need anything, including a woman. You need me, because I can take you beyond yourself in a way that you can never even fathom. I know I have that power. You can't do it. There's a whole section of you
that's real G, because I was like, listen, motherfucker. I was thinking in-house. I make you better. You make the house better. I'm better because I'm in the house. So I was thinking I was doing something for the team. Like, let's do this for the team. And it doesn't work out that way. People are not like that. You level them up. And
here's the thing, Jen. I want to talk about what you just said. You know, his hypocrisy for a lot of guys. And like I said, you know, he that wasn't a joke what he made.
No.
You can have that perspective, sir. That's entirely your perspective, and you're entitled to that. However,
yeah, it's fine.
However, you know what I mean, the Andrew Tates of the world, the FFs of the world, and so on and so forth, you know what I mean, what they always tend to tell you is that you should always find a woman that'll pour life in you, that'll level you up, and so on and so forth. And then when you get to where you are, where you want to be, what do they tell you to do? Explore your options.
Right.
So you know what I mean? You're going to basically do what you're accusing the woman of doing, which is hypocrisy.
Very true.
You know what I mean? Which is hypocrisy, homie. But again, the reason why I don't give a fuck is because I'm who I am, man. Mm-hmm. That's the brilliance and the no cap. That's the calmness of knowing who you are. Where it's just like, if some shit go left, you're gonna be like, hey, it is what it is. And I didn't even tell you the reason why she left is because I fucked up. I did some fucked up shit. You know what I mean? I can admit that right now. But she took my teachings and she went alongside and she leveled up. And that's great for her, man. And that's wonderful. And guess what? If that was the gift, the last gift that I gave her, that, you know, for her to be the best version of herself, how can I be mad at that? I'm not mad at that. Look, I'm here to make everybody better. That's who I am. You know what I mean? I'm a leader. I am I am a man that stands firm in his square. I'm here to make everyone better, whether it's women, children, you know what I mean, and other men. You know what I mean?
Okay, so we got some heat in the chat I want to address. First, right. Coach Anthony says, LOL, if I said I'm joking, I meant it. But if you can't take a joke, fellas.
No, it's not about joking, right? It's we can't have words without thoughts. We can't have thoughts without frame of mind, right? So in order for that to happen, the frame of mind has to exist. And that's where the issue lies, right? Like, jokes are fine, like whatever, you know what I mean? But what really is interesting is what Rod Veal said here about sounds like the gentleman he said preying on low self-esteem women.
Damn, okay? That's the heat I was talking about.
Okay,
Rod Veal want all the smoke.
Okay, right. So Rod, okay, please understand this. All women have low self-esteem. All of them. The confidence that you see, it's a front. It is a front to compensate.
Really, shots fired.
To compensate for the low self-esteem. And sometimes it's adhered to for so long that it's actually believed, which means they themselves are living on their own surface. But they won't get past that until they're with a dude who can crack through it.
What do you think? I'm gonna give you guys.
I'd like to know what okay, I'm a woman. You said all women, right? So what am I insecure about? What's my low self? Rod is funny. Rod is like, you buying that?
I would have to. I can't pull that card right. I don't know you well enough, right? But if I spend time, I start hearing things. I can start seeing the chinks. I start seeing where the light is passing through, and I'm like, oh, there you are, right?
But wouldn't the chinks be like just normal human behavior? Like if I hung out with you long enough,
it's the chinks in the confidence. We're not equal. We're not the same being. We're like I'm a man.
You know know that. But okay, if I hung out with Haran or you and we spoke for a long time, had a couple drinks, we talking about shit, life and whatever, I could find your chinks as well, is what I'm saying. Like no one's at 100%. That's my point.
No, as a man, there's zero doubt. There's 100% belief and faith in oneself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you hold that.
Yeah, I'm like,
because everybody's.
I can find a chink in anyone.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I only say that respectfully because I'm like, we're all human and none of us are perfect. Every human being could be like, I could be a little taller, I could be a little stronger, I could have a little more money, I could have not a receding airline.
That's outside the self. Yes, average males can you find chinks in, right? But men, it's not based on anything external to them, right? You mentioned height, you mentioned muscle, you mentioned hairline, you mentioned all external things, right? That's for the average males. Men do not operate that way. It starts.
I mean, it sounds hella G. I'll say that.
well, I'm telling you, there is no doubt. Right? Because all right. So like what my mentor says, was there doubt as a man when you were going towards that egg as a sperm? You fought past millions of your brothers and sisters, right? And I'm serious.
No, I'm laughing at Rod. I'm laughing at Rod.
And got to that egg. And actually there's stuff inside a woman's body that's designed to kill sperm, right? There's like part of our biology is meant to kill, to not get pregnant. But to weed off the weak genetics, right? Yes. That's what it's there for, right? And so, but you're like, no, fuck this, fuck you, fuck everybody. I'm getting in there, right? There was no self-doubt at that point, right? It's only they learn self-doubt when their mind goes outside of themselves. They start listening to the world. They start listening to women. They start listening to other men. They start listening to other systems on how to be, how to think, how to behave, and how to feel about themselves. And that's when the weakness starts. They start listening to religion. They start listening to politics. They start listening to all this bullshit, and they never really get to know who they are.
Okay, so I agree with you, and here's why I agree with you. Because I am the same way. That is why I'm not religious. I don't vote. I cut my parents off. I cut my siblings off. If you bring me any type of stress or negativity, I cut you the fuck out my life. And I do it quickly because I know who I am. You're not going to tell me I'm to this, I'm to that. I've had friends say, you look better with like 50 more pounds. Fuck you. You look better with a bigger bank account and a foot taller. Like I'm impenetrable to the point where it's like, don't bring me that shit. I don't want it in my pores. I don't want it in my cipher. If you feel like
you got a big crygasm waiting.
Listen, I've had those. I know what they are. I've had those.
I'm just playing around.
No, but I'm saying that I understand what you're saying because 9 times out of 10, if you have an insecurity, it's because you are listening to another voice that isn't yours, or that voice convinced you that it is your voice. Like, I really do feel like I'm too short, or I really do feel like I should have more money. But me, butt naked with nothing, I'm one of the baddest motherfuckers I know, without a doubt. This is why I can stand here and say, this dress cost me $10, and you're still going to want to fuck me in it. Right. I don't hide behind, let me buy some red bottoms so I can look like I got money online. No, I got some rubber shoes from Walmart. They're upstairs in the closet. I got them in 2 colors.
Right.
Yeah. 2 colors. And I can talk like this because there's nothing a woman or a man is going to tell me to make me feel, oh my God, I wish I could give it. Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. Like, I totally understand what you're saying.
Here's the thing that's very fascinating though, where we're saying that I believe the gentleman says what it sounds like you were targeting women with low self-esteem. That's not the case, you know what I mean, for me. But I will say this. Again, you know what I mean, with all these gurus and these dating coaches.
They were cheaper than Crocs. For the record, my rubber shoes from Walmart are cheaper than Crocs.
With all these dating gurus and so on and so forth, they're basically, from what I'm understanding, they're communicating to you that the best course of action to deal with women is basically to beat their self-esteem into submission by bringing them on coffee dates, telling them that they deserve less, telling them that they shit, arguing on every 5 minutes. Like, what are you doing? Are you, you know what I mean? It sounds like you're trying to, you know what I mean? A lot of these other guys are trying to implement some sort of, you know what I mean, routine to beat them into submission to where they're powerless and and they're destitute and they're everything, you know what I mean, that you can take advantage of. That's what I'm hearing. Like the kind of women that I was telling Jen earlier, the kind of women that I realize that I attract women who are most of the time they're entrepreneurs. Most of the time they own their own business. Most of the time they're women who some might say have masculine energy. And I attract these women because they want to be around a man where they don't have to be that.
Right. Exactly.
They want to be around a guy where they don't have to be that, because most of the time they're around a guy where they have to be that, where they have to take care of that guy, where they got to get a motherfucking their car, where they got to get, you know what I mean, pay somebody's motherfucking baby, you know what I mean, baby mama bill, so on and so forth. They have to be your mama. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm like, I love, there was a scene, not even a scene because it happened in real life, but Serena and Venus Williams' dad, when I think it was Serena, she was a little young girl and she was sitting at an interview. I don't know if you guys saw it. And the reporter kept asking her something about either losing or something, or how do you feel? And she answered the question, like, you know, and I'm paraphrasing, but she answered the question. She was like, well, I'm going to win because I'm blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And the reporter was like, yeah, but what if blah, blah, blah. And her father jumped into the interview and stopped it. And it's, you can Google it, or I'm sure it's on YouTube, but he jumped into the interview and was like, do not fucking talk. She said what she said. Okay. Don't try to put in her mind that she's less than what she said. And that is how I live my life. Because let me tell you, every time this happens a lot, and I don't know if men notice that they do it.
They don't.
I don't know if they do it subconsciously. I don't think it's malice. I don't think it's malice. But when I do hang out with men, or if I'm gonna date or whatever, I notice men are real quick to tell a woman what would make her better or more attractive. And my attitude is, you can fuck off, because I'm sitting here with you. You are not Jason Momoa, sir. So if you are allowed to walk around as confident as you are, and you're not Jason Momoa, then I could walk around feeling like I'm Halle fucking Berry. Do not tell me I would look better with a bigger ass, or taller, or longer hair, or straighter hair, or smaller lips. Or do not tell me that. And I will cut them off quickly. If you feel like I would look better with 15 more pounds, then you go find you a bitch who's 15 more pounds heavier than me. Simple. Life is very simple.
It's real simple, yeah.
It's really simple. If you looked at me and said, oh, she bad, but if she had 15 more pounds on her, then you, sir, need to go find you a bitch with 15 more pounds on her.
Right. I don't think not a damn thing.
And that's how I fucking live. And it took me a long time to get here, because I was what Justin was talking about. I was religious 10 years ago. I used to talk about God on Facebook. The memories are repulsive. I had my mother in my head. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get naked. I had my father in my head. I had my siblings. I had my, best friends in my head. And I'm telling you, my scissor is sharp on the cutoff. It's very, very sharp. I don't even like when I work with people, and let's say we're producing something and they tell me, and I say, look, we need that over there, so that angle, we can't do that. Do not even fucking tell me that shit. What you come tell me is what we have to work around is. That's the phrase I teach everybody I work with. Do not come and tell me it cannot be done. Tell me, Jen, I know you want that done, but this is what we got to work around to get there. Do not fucking tell me it cannot be done. And this is how I walk around. So I totally understand the mindset of being that way. I'm not some, little, what would you like? And, coming to America, hopping on one foot. Should I bark louder for you?
Look, take it or leave it. That's me.
I'm not. Yeah, because somebody else will take it.
Exactly.
Like somebody else will take it.
And the thing would help me get to that place, in addition to doing a lot of inner work, right? Yeah. What made me get to that place was I had to look at the evidence, and the evidence states that every single, and I mean 100% of my exes have tried to come back. 100%
sis.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like,
I'm like, but you know what I love about that? I'm like, remember when we were together and you was like, ooh, if I was just 5 pounds heavier, them 5 pounds ain't bothering you now, are they? Right? While you're in the DMs.
All right. So Lily, you said that the fact, well, you said all of them came back at some point. 100%. Yeah. All right, Jen. How many hit you up after the fact and was like, trying to see what's going on with you at? Like,
I would say all of them, with the exception of one, because there was a court case involved. So not that guy, but it got to the point where I always say this, when I see that men constantly come back, right? And they do no cap, because I'm not going to lie. I don't have to lie. I know a lot of people lie on YouTube to make it look good. But I started thinking, there's something in a man's brain that doesn't understand that when a woman is done, she is done. I think men's, from what I've seen of my exes, how their brains work is, I hit it once, so I'm always able to hit it. Right. I was in a relationship and I was smashing for 2-3 years. So I'm going to always be able to smash.
Neediness has no limits.
Right.
Right. So that to me says that you've been with males. That's what, because what if you think man, right? Like that guy, right? Is he going to come back? No. Think about it. A fucking man. Is he gonna come back and be like, "Hey, what's going on? What do you?" and start lying to you, like, "How have you been? What you been up to?" Lie after lie after lie. He doesn't give a shit.
But Justin, you don't think we're being too absolute?
No,
because
not at all.
These guys weren't they weren't all bums. I had 2 bums.
No, I'm not talking about bums. 2. No, it's bummy thinking, a bummy mindset. Why would you come back to a woman who said no?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you why.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Lily, what you got?
Bitch out there like this. I'm just saying. I know that. I'm very clear. I am the best case scenario. I'm letting you know that. So if you fuck it up, that's on you. But I am the best case scenario, and evidence is showing that. Because I'm clear in my role. I'm very clear in who I am and things like that. So I know that I walk into the relationship knowing I'm the best case scenario. Okay. But I feel like you should know that too. It's not just me.
But that means that you're leading.
You should know you're the best case scenario.
You're leading. And he's saying, can I come back? Can I do that? So basically, if you kind of distill it down to its most basic thing, okay? When they come back, what are they doing? They're campaigning to get back on whatever it was that they thought they had, right?
Yes.
That's all they're trying to do. That means they are following. That's not leading you anywhere, because you've already said, I'm not interested in you leading me. I'm not interested in you at all. And then so when they're coming back, they never had a sense of leadership. So they're asking for you to lead them again. Well, right. And so by coming back, they're putting you in the position of leadership. And then you have to make a decision of how to handle them now.
Well, right? Well, here's the thing as well. When you're and I'm sure there are a lot of women out there like that, because we are raised to be subservient and submissive and really good girls. So I'm sure there are other women out there close to me, not exactly like me, but close enough, right? When these men do come back, I don't know if I would call it groveling, because I hear the same thing over and over again. Like, yo, I've been on dates and I was just trying to find that thing that you and I had. I can't fucking find. I got with this one. I hear that as a pattern.
Weak.
And that's what made me think that, wow, men think because they were in a relationship with you before, they can always come back. So is it weak, or is it like, listen, they fucking closed down the restaurant where they made my favorite fucking steak. Now I can't find no one to cook me a fucking steak like that, but fuck it, I'm hungry, so I'm going to go get this burger. You don't think that happens as well?
And I like what this person said in the chat. Depends on how they come back. Because I've had the groveling.
Right, I've had the groveling and crying. I've had the groveling and crying.
Groveling and crying?
No, I've had the, I've had, yes, drunk, crying, knocking on the door.
All right, so the ones that came back, okay, did they let you go, or did you let them go?
I let them go.
You let them go. Exactly. So you said, so you had an interaction for however long. You said, no, I'm not interested. Some time went by and it comes back. Can I try again? Right? Basically trying to
They want that old thing back.
They want your approval and access to your body again, which means you're leading them. Right? Waiting for the yes, I approve, come back, right? That's what they're hoping for. It's you've not dated men. You've dated males who are looking for your approval. Period. That's all it's been. And some have had good dick. Some have had great personalities. Some have been adventurous or really cool or interesting. Okay. But at that core, there was no man. There was a male seeking validation, seeking approval, and doing what he could to stay on your good side so he can maintain the access to your body to make himself feel better about himself. Using you like a drug.
Well, that sounds like one person in particular that I know. That sounds like everything you said.
Please keep him in mind right now, because I'm about to ask you a question.
Okay, there's one person that fits that perfectly.
Now, I assume that we're both talking about the same person.
Probably.
Okay, so if you recall, I asked you, okay, if there was a moment in time, if this guy didn't contact you at all, and if by happenstance you might have seen him in the street, and he was the complete antithesis of what he was before when you met him. He looked amazing. Maybe he stepped out of something, you know what I mean?
Something foreign.
Something foreign. He stepped out of something foreign, but the energy. Let's not even talk about what he had on and what was going on. Just the energy.
Okay.
You can tell, like it was the complete antithesis of what you left. What you felt that you needed to get away from. I asked you, would there have been a piece of you that would have entertained him swinging, swinging?
How often does that happen, though?
Right? It sounds like a great movie. It sounds like a great movie.
And this is the other point. This is the other point that I'm gonna make to a lot of men in the chat. I tell a lot of dudes, like, look, when a woman leaves you, she has a snapshot of you in her mind that's who you are. That's who you are.
Point.
And if years from then or whatever, if you become the complete antithesis of what that shot was, of what they remember you as, the energy is going to change. Yeah. If you so happen to get into a conversation with her, if so, things happen. Maybe you might bump into each other. I don't know. But if you work on yourself and become greater than the man that she left, then yeah, it's going to be a completely different discussion. Because if there's one thing a woman won't leave an opportunity.
No.
A woman will not leave an opportunity, man. And she usually, when a woman leaves, she usually thinks that you peaked. Usually thinks
but guys think they're an opportunity based on their fitness, based on their clothes, based on their job, based on their money, which all can change and be lost. And if they're attaching their identity to it, it means they're weak. They have.
So let me ask you a question, Justin. So you don't think that there's a man out there who's well off in every way possible, good looking, dating a lot of women, and can't possibly miss that one that got away? He can't possibly miss her because he has all this abundance of pussy and options, and he's hecho y derecho, and he's a man's man.
No, he will. No, a man who doesn't miss a woman is full of himself. He doesn't need her. And I don't mean in like full of self, like he has disregard for other people. I don't mean full of self in that way. I mean, he's full of self-love. He's full of self-respect. He's full of self-value, right? It doesn't need. There's like, yeah, if my girl were to leave tomorrow, I'd be disappointed, right? But it wouldn't like rip a hole in my heart. I wouldn't be pining away for days and like call her up and like, why is this happening?
But doesn't age play a factor as well?
I was about to say,
and knowing yourself, because I mean,
of course,
I would be suicidal today, but 20 years ago.
But I bring guys in their 20s and 30s to this awareness, right? Through
and you should.
Right. I'm taking my experience, my education, my knowledge, and that's what a mentor does, and helps them come to the awareness faster than I did. Right. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of doing what I do. You know?
And I agree with you because, like I said, when I work gigs, I'm usually with girls half my age, literally, right? We're on set and it's like no one knows until I start talking about my age. But I school them the same way. Everything you're feeling, all that insecure shit you're feeling, all that, please get rid of it now because it's going to take you 20 some odd years to do it. And you're going to waste 20 fucking years in between worrying about what people think about you, your face, your ass, your weight, your money, this, that. Like, and that's how I talk to him, like, get on it now because you're going to regret not getting on it sooner. No one was around to tell me this shit 20 some odd years ago. I don't even think about anything back then. So I try to, it's good work to tell young people like this, none of this is going to matter. With that said,
you won't remember his name.
With that said, Haran Zamarco.
Yes, love.
Haran Zamarco. So there's no woman in your past that if you ran into and she was like, I know I broke up with you 20 some odd years ago. How you doing, Haran? And now Haran is bigger and better and more paid. Okay. So you're going to have that different energy. You're not going to want that old thing back. You're not going to be like, girl.
There's one.
Tell me about her, please.
She might literally be the only woman in my life that I can say we matched intellectual acumen. We just fit sexually. It was all the cylinders that I needed to fire were there. On the other hand, I did take her for granted in many ways because I have a fucking ego problem that I need.
We are Leo, so we give you an excuse.
You know what I mean?
Right. I'm like, you get a pass.
To work on. I'm continuing to work on, and I'm continuing to understand the importance of not taking people for granted. I'm still working on my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so on. And I did take her for granted in many ways, you know what I mean? And that was my bad. And we were together for a long time. But she was an amazing woman, you know what I mean? And she is pretty much maybe the only one. Yeah, the only one that I would say, maybe. All the rest of them, it's like, nah, sweetie, that ship sailed. We did that dance. Take care. I hope your $40,000 a year husband is working out for you, and I'll see you around. I'll see you around.
That's terrible. Oh God, yo, New Diamond be going in.
I know, right?
Yeah, losing it. But I get it. You know, that's what happens when you deal with a lot of males who are just completely led by sex.
Justin is like, they're all males. Fuck it.
They are.
No, he's making some good points here.
Absolutely, he always does.
Mark Randall. Everyone has the one that got away. No, you see, women are supposed to say that, where they go, "Shit, that was the dude. That was the dude, and he's he's riding off into the sunset, and I fucking missed my chance. Right? The women are supposed to say that, not the one that
I will say.
away.
I will say this.
Away.
I will say this. There's. I told Haran this. There is one that listen. He's so fucking stupid, and so he'll live a dead end life for the rest of his fucking life. But I would have still hit. I would have still let him hit. I would have stepped today. Like I would have maybe. I don't know about a relationship. But the connection was motherfucking bananas. But he insists on being a bum. He insists, like he does everything possible. You ever seen a man like work really, really hard to achieve things and get things? I've never seen someone work so hard to be a bum. Like he works at it. Yeah. It is not happenstance. It is not happen. It is not coincidence.
Give me one
he's probably watching. He's probably watching. But
okay, well, I don't know who this person is.
Yeah, but he'll be like, oh, you know, but just like, when you run into somebody 2-3 years later and they're either at the same place or doing better, this motherfucker, like every couple of years I run into him, he's doing worse. Right. Than the other 2 years. Like
a
whether it's
disease.
Yes, whether it's financially or now he's in a bind with another woman or just worse. I was like, I didn't think that was possible.
It's just stacking bad choices is what
yes. Like, yes, the older we get, the worse his choice get. But, but I would say he doesn't even know. Well, he knows now because he lurks. He doesn't even know, but I would have threw this thing on him. Okay. Like I would have threw this thing on him. Like it was, but I can't bring myself to open up for a man that is so fucking comfortable doing life so horribly. Like I am a desert when I think about him now, like a fucking desert, but the chemistry was so good otherwise. I would have still been there to this day, but I'm like, no, I'm not opening my purse for you any fucking more. Fuck off.
I got one that got away. So I got one that got away relationship wise, right? Then I got the one that I would spin the block sexually, right? Two different guys, right? So the one who got away, the thing with that was I met him when I was way too young. And so all of the things that he was bringing in, that he was willing to bring into my life and that he was bringing into my life, I wasn't ready for. Like I was young. I wanted to be young. I wanted to party and all of those things. And we were together. So I broke up with him. He came back. He kept trying to come back. And then it wasn't until I got a little older that I realized like, oh, wow, like that was the one that got away. Now we fast forward to today. We're back to another place where I don't even want those things again in my life. So it's very interesting because I'm not the place that I'm at now. I'm not interested in a traditional monogamous relationship, but he was very like, if you want to go through the textbook of the traditional monogamous and provider and I mean, he had all the things. I was just young and I'm like, I don't want to be with one guy and forever and all that. Like, that's crazy. I was 20.
I don't know if I got one that, got away.
I know you just explained it's impossible because you just explained that 100% of the men you dated have all tried to come back.
Yeah, I don't have a guy that I'm like, damn, I fucked that up. Like, I don't know.
They pedestalize you. So you can't possibly think this way towards a person that pedestalizes you and chases after your coattails because you're in front of them.
So who do I need?
I just want to mention something.
Who do I need to date, Justin?
I will talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. I'm sorry. What's that, Haran?
I told her we'll talk about that later. Lily, I
want to know what kind of guy do I have to date?
I want to talk about the look on your face when I said if you bump into the dude, you know what I mean, years later, and he is the shit and he's the complete antithesis of what he was when you left him. there was anger and visceral disgust on your face, where it was like, how dare this man?
No, it wasn't what you thought it was. Nope.
Spill the tea. Spill the tea, Lily.
What was it? What was it?
I'm gonna tell you what it was, because I've had that happen, and I'm like, oh, they try to abracadabra you with all the look, I've grown up and I've glowed up.
Oh, okay. He did the dance for you. He threw it in front of your face. See, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. Don't try to throw it.
No, he didn't do that. No, he didn't do that. Because it was obvious, right? It was obvious.
Oh, okay.
But then after like a few minutes or a conversation or a day, you realize you're still the same person. You're still.
Oh, you see, that's different. I'm not talking about. The reason why I'm using the surface is because if you change yourself internally, it's going to show on the surface. Now, if you're still a goofy, you're just basically changing your fucking clothes. If you're still an idiot, you're just putting on a suit. I'm talking about if the man actually changed his life and he became a better person. If he became the antithesis of that, what he was prior to what you knew of him before. He grew up. Let's just say that he became a goddamn man. You know what I mean? That is what I'm saying.
What's sad about that is that that's a big if, and from based on my experience, because like I said, I had 100% try to come back and 0% changed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow!
All of them. That's why I'm not with them. That's why I didn't give them the. There's one guy I kept doing the circle with, right? Mm-hmm. That's just because where I was at in my life. But it was the same thing with him. He kept. Oh God, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like they all would come back, and then it didn't take me long to realize. Like, I remember now. I know why I left you. I get it. I remember.
But I will say this to the men in the room: the worst thing you can do is change yourself to get some woman back. Don't do that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You should evolve just for yourself.
I don't think that they did that. I won't go as far as to say is that they changed for me. I just think that their life got better, but then I realized they didn't get better.
That happens too.
I think with my my very first relationship, I was too young to be in a 13-year relationship. Like I started at 17 years old, and we were together 13 fucking years. Okay, the 13 fucking years. Too young at 17, but I feel like it preserved me in a lot of different ways because I was locked down that whole, in the teens, the 20s, right? But I outgrew him, I would say, and then he started panicking and started, like sand, when you hold on to sand and the tighter you hold on, the more spills. And I was like the sand. And then he would try to like bring me down and make me insecure. That way I would stay with him. And I was like, no, I'm gone. So he ran off, I guess, rebelling, and married a chick I heard looked like me, according to his family. He was like, she looks like you, except she's like boring. I was like, well, that's what he needs though. Like he needs me, but boring. That is what I'm glad, And then, after he got married, Haran, when you was like really crying, he's the guy that came back crying, like with his wedding band on, crying, drunk, crying. He was like, I want my family back. I want you. I was like, you, sir, have a wedding ring on and you need to go. I was like, you need to go back to whoever you married, sir. And you need to go now. Like, but he was just like bawling. And I'm like, no, motherfucker. Because when I was with you, I was telling you to chill. Like, just fucking chill and let me, you know what I mean? I fucking met you when I was 16, 17. Like, I'm going to want to explore shit and do shit. And it wasn't even explore shit and do shit with other men or date anyone else. It was still like, I want to rock with you, but I want to go fucking on a mountain. I want to fuck on a mountain now. And he was just like, it's a slutty thing to do. I was like, oh, we're not going to work out.
No.
Yeah.
So that's the judgment, right?
Lots of judgment.
Yeah. Lots of judgments. Yeah. See, they can't handle that, right? No. You hear any kind of judgment, they haven't gotten around enough, right?
Right.
You have enough experience with women, you realize, like there's a lot more that's going on there. And when you don't judge and you give free will, you actually get more in return.
Fuck yeah.
But here's the catch. You can't actually want it or care about it. And then they really give it to you. But you can't pretend you actually don't care. Like, you have to actually not care. So it's a weird thing, but you can't keep a little side eye like, oh, is she doing what I want her to do? You have that just a pinch of that, like watching if she's doing the thing, and you've ruined it. Like 100% of your vision has to be filled with, I don't care. And that really, and not in a dismissive sort of way, not a disrespectful sort of way, in the same way, like, do you care if say you ask your friend to buy some garbage bags. So like, hey, I'm going to the store, you need anything, and like, oh, you know what, I need some garbage bags for my kitchen trash. And they're like, all right, cool. And you're expecting them to bring you white ones, but they brought you like blue ones instead, or clear ones instead. Like, would you care? Not really. It would have that level of not caring.
You must not know women.
It's not a dismissive not caring. It's just a not caring. Like, it's not attached, right? Mm-hmm. Like, there's no expectation. And that's really when they put it on you. But it's really about them. And then at that point, you can actually sit back and lead their experience. You could really lead that experience. Oh, who's calling you now?
No, somebody
it was Jackson. That guy. It was
that Janet Jackson.
It was that guy. He's like, hey.
No, that was my Facebook.
Ironically, that's let's wait a while, right? And the topic is the 90-day rule.
Thank you. That's the song. That's the song I used for the 90-day rule thumbnail. Okay. So nobody's calling.
Got you.
Nobody's calling. Listen, I'm a nun over here, Justin. I'm a nun. I'm a little old virgin here. I'm a born again virgin.
No. Oh, geez. Mark's in his feelings, man.
That's called a psychopath.
Yeah. No, because
you said you don't care. You don't care, Justin.
It's the sense of non-attachment, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying, right? Justin, because I'm kind of like that. So
the guy didn't sit here and say that he doesn't have any fucking emotion.
It's a sense of non-attachment, right? And giving her free will and no judgment. And that's when she wants to give you her will. That's when, and so if you can lead,
Yeah.
I love it. I love our chat. They're such a mess.
Yeah, our chat is good.
So if you can lead, you're non-judgmental, and you give her free will, she's like, oh, I want to give you my will. I want you to lead me, right? Because what are they doing? What are they doing, Jen? They're chasing after the coattails, right, Lily? They're chasing after your coattails. They're coming back. Show me how, please, because I can't do it on myself. Like, I need you to show me that I'm valuable, right? That's all it is. It's fucking sad.
He says fucking sad,
right?
Look, I've seen it. Sadly, I've seen in my experiences, a lot of Black women deal with self-esteem issues because they deal in a particular society.
Do we need a race bell?
Possibly. They deal in a particular society, and they deal with a particular sect of Black men, not all Black men, who spend a great deal of time trying to bury their self-esteem. And they're looking at magazines, they're looking at images that might be the complete antithesis of what they appear to be beautiful. There's these image standards that they can't live up to, and so on and so forth. So a lot of times, they might appear to be combative. They might appear to be overly aggressive. But a lot of times, what they're trying to do is combat against that, and be defensive against a lot of these ideas that are trying to tear them down in society. And a lot of these brothers that I see, and I see some sisters do it with white men, but I'm sticking to this point right now. A lot of times that I see there are a sect of Black men who deify white women and deify other women of other cultures, and at the detriment of trying to tear down Black women. Right. So there's a self-esteem discussion going on over there as well.
So what is this the comment you're referring to? Says nobody waits past the first night. Men expect sex the first night. In fact, I've heard black men say that if they take you out to dinner, then there's going to be sex or else. I've seen that too. I've seen that online.
Again,
sex or else.
Again, ma'am, I'm sorry if you've experienced that. You know, I'm saying I don't say sex or else. I'm not.
Sex or else. Sex or else after this Capitol Grill.
Right. Like, wait a minute, you want cheese on that? Oh, that's head. That's you going into head territory. You gonna put cheese on that. Like I'm not that guy.
I want to get a shirt, a Capitol Grill shirt. I'm gonna wear it.
Right. Rob Beal was like, or else what? We all want to know or else what.
Or else they're gonna like break your arm. They're gonna put you in.
Like what is the or else? Like
because I'm packing, we could play or else.
Uh-huh.
So let's listen to this one more time because Haran, you weren't here, but this is the kid. Look.
And for a man to vet you, it is the standard to spend money. Okay? For me to get your time, I have to spend money somewhere. In most cases, I gotta take you on a Capitol Grill. That's gonna cost money. I gotta take you at a place that you deem is valuable for you to sit at. Right? Which is going to cost me money instead of saying, hey, you know what? The realistic thing is if we just sat here and talked to each other for 90 days. And I'm like, okay, cool. If I FaceTime you, I can't FaceTime you more than, once or twice a week unless I had actually started to invest money in you for 90 days. I'm wrong. So I'm not saying that your box is in exchange for money. What I'm saying is that for me to actually get your time, I have to spend money. But yeah, I can spend your money and get your time, but never get nothing out of it. Is not fair to a man.
I'm not FaceTiming nobody for no fucking 90 days. What do you have?
But he is saying her box is in exchange for money while saying that's not what he's saying.
I'm not. That is. I don't know what these young boys are right now.
Yeah,
I mean, if y'all dealing with these kind of guys, ladies, my condolences.
It's the modern man. It's the modern man.
The school of men. The school of men that I come from, that I've been mentored by. You jump in the water, you make something shake. You know what I mean, and you control the situation, and it goes in the situation, and it goes in the direction that you wanted to go into. If it doesn't, you keep it pushing. I don't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean. Is this the 90 days or else guy? Is this the kind of guy we're talking about here? It's gonna be head or else. Like,
we don't know. I
don't know.
Or else you're gonna get tased.
Well, first of all,
oh, he's gonna run off of one of the
First of all, homie, if you had any kind of culture and you had any kind of taste, you don't have to take a woman to a chain or whatever the fuck it is that he said.
Capitol Grill.
Capitol Grill. You could, you know what I mean? You can take a woman to an unknown, very high class, foreign restaurant if you were cultured. You know what I mean? I actually took one to a woman that actually I didn't even know had a piano, and that was one of the nights where I got sex that same night.
Wait.
Jumped on the piano.
Ron, you sealed the deal. Nice.
I jumped on the piano. I didn't know I had a piano, so I was there. I was like, yeah, this I didn't this nice here.
She saw those fingers moving. She's like, I want to see those fingers move.
But really, that's the whole point I'm saying. Right. Why brothers ain't sitting down and understanding it's about providing the experience. You have to understand how to create an experience. Women are into experiences, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can be a great look. I told this young boy, you can be three things. You can be a good guy. You can be a great guy. You can be magic. Women like magic.
Right. Well, see, and where I'm coming from and what I teach my dudes is that I am the experience, right? It could go anywhere. It doesn't matter. It does not matter because you're with me, and I'm the experience, and I'm going to change your experience of yourself. And you're like, oh shit, like I feel different. I lost track of time, right? I lost sense of where I was. I wasn't looking at my phone, right? It's been on silent this whole time or whatever, like as a man, like you're the experience, right?
Where
but
these men?
so
Okay,
little,
again, I ask.
There's so little trust in the self, right? That they
Again, I
have to
ask, where
do
are these
things on the
men?
outside.
A lot of them are married.
So
Gotta be. They gotta be married.
The whole date restaurant experience is banking off the fact that men don't trust themselves, and they need this thing. They need this outside, like, oh, I need this to compensate for me, or else she'll notice that I'm a fucking loser, right? So I gotta fill up the space, fill up the air, fill up her eyes with all these things except me, and I'm gonna be like, kind of like blended into the situation, be like, see, I did that, right? And so no, so okay, so you want her to date the fucking the putt golf? You want her to date the the club that you went to? No, you want her to date you, right? You're the experience, but they don't know how to make them the experience.
And that's what I was saying about the guy I just broke up with. He didn't understand that. He was always making the external things the experience. And then when I was like, no, we are the experience. Like the experience is chopping up tomatoes and cooking and, picking out a movie and walking or whatever. I mean, just whatever, just being together, finding a way to be together and create an experience in that.
Exactly. Doesn't matter what you're doing.
Also, I would say,
because I feel like that on my own, like that's me with no people. Like I'm a whole mood.
Well, I'll say this: I'm on the other side now. I've crossed over, guys. I want that helicopter ride.
That's okay.
I want you to invite me to your home and hire a personal chef.
You deserve it.
Okay, that's fine.
Right. That's I'm on the other side. I did,
but like right now, like you're by yourself, like you're single and you're not dating. So all you have are the pictures in your mind. All you have are these desires, right? Remember, I was talking about the fantasies.
And I'm a creative person too.
Exactly. So
I'm writing constantly.
Oh yeah, you've got pictures upon pictures, right?
Yeah.
So like I was saying before, the fantasy is there, right? And that is taking the seat of where a man will sit. You know what I'm saying? And
correct.
So when these males come in, you're like, oh, I like this, I want this, I expect this. And then usually to some varying degrees, they'll say, okay, I can provide to that fantasy ideal desire to a certain percent. They don't actually say this, but this is what they do. Right. Like maybe not the helicopter ride, but like I've got a friend who has this sort of thing that you can enjoy, or maybe I do know somebody who has a helicopter and we can get a ride or whatever, you know what I mean? And so it's really just them again aiming towards those fantasies, right? So you're just leading it. But hey, if you're fine leading in that and that makes you happy,
I'm gonna tell you how I look at it, Justin. One of the reasons why I'm choosing to opt out of traditional monogamous relationships.
My parents go, who the hell stole you limousine?
That's funny. Yeah, a friend of mine actually bought one. He bought a limousine from like the late 80s and he converted it to electric. And it's the only electric limousine service in New York City. And he thought it would blow up. And like people were like, nah, who uses limousines anymore?
Anyways, Lily, not going with you saying.
But I'm sorry, Lily. I'm sorry.
Oh shit! I have the mind of a goldfish. Okay, so one of the reasons why I opted, I know what it is, out of traditional monogamous relationships is I realized I'm not going to get everything I want in one man, and I don't need to. Right? I have a lot of love to give. Right? I don't have a lot of sex to give everybody, but I got a lot of love to give, right? And I got a lot of experiences.
Got a lot of attaboys.
I got a lot of
attaboy.
Let's do that. So I got that, right?
Not an attaboy. Not an attaboy.
Be a little bit of that, but so I've traded trying to have that fantasy with just having experiences with no expectations. Let's just have experiences. We can connect on whatever level we connect on. It's organic, it's easy. And it's actually been more rewarding because it's just no pressure. I'm getting the experiences that I want. And it's just that simple. But that's just for me. I mean, and everyone has their own things, but that's what's been working for me.
I love that for you, Lily.
Right, and that's just what's, you know, if that's what's being presented and you like it, that's what it is.
Yeah, because after I get up and leave, I'm
like it's one or the other, man. Either you're gonna be fucking fine with no money, or you're not gonna be fine. You better have some fucking money, because I'm gonna need some experiences to deal with your face.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, one guy is the guy with all the money, and then one guy's probably the homosexual with the good dick, because it seems like that's what it
What? It's always these guys. Always. What is it with the homosexuals and the good dick? What the fuck?
It is like,
well, that's most of them. That's the only card they got to play.
It's so true, because
and they think that's the only thing that they should play.
Homosexual dick is toxic. It's the best, hands down.
But they're always at the mercy of a woman.
That's true.
That's true.
Because they need that in order to express the thing.
Exactly. They're always at the mercy of a woman.
Yeah, I
very
had a
true.
like that. Yeah, this guy Jake, I was friends with him for many years, and he looked like an Abercrombie model from like the 90s.
Damn, that's a throwback, Abercrombie.
Right. Like, yeah, so not 90s. I'm sorry, like early 2000s. Like that type of model is like all American. Like this is like that, like all American looking guy, right? But he was also an artist. He was a painter, and he was nonconformist, and didn't, you know, and so that was like very charming, right? But he's also just this like really good looking guy, and women would just fall to his feet constantly. And so he utilized it, and they paid his bills. They put a roof over his head. They fed him. They bought him clothes, right? And nothing extravagant or anything like that. But they were facilitating his life basically. And then he would shack up with one of them. They would never move in with him, but he would move in with them. And then after a while, you know, like maybe some months or like maybe a couple years, if at best, they would just get sick of his shit. You know, and then he'd be homeless for a little while, and then, you know, like crashing on people's couches until he'd go to a party or a bar and meet this other love of his life, right? And to him, it was very real. He'd be like, "Oh my gosh, like I love this girl." Like he's just like in it, right? And then that girl would be the next thing to take care of him, and that's how he's been going through life until he's gotten too old, and now he like literally lives in a van down by the river. Kid you not, literally lives in a van.
Abercrombie is in a van
By a river.
Believe it.
Yes,
I believe it.
Yep.
Because I mean, if you play that game, eventually all those things that you're playing with are gonna fade.
Right. And like he has no means of dealing with life, so he has to like make do. And he's a minimalist kind of guy, and he's kind of accepted his lot.
I mean, he's in a van,
and he's actually quite peaceful now after he kind of let go of like a lot of stuff inside him. But the point was that I watched him go through his like 20s and early 30s, and women were the reason why he could exist,
right,
without being in like a homeless shelter,
right.
Damn.
I've met those guys, but see, I'm not that girl. I'm not. No. No.
Yeah, but that's another thing, that the homosexuals are great, right, for a little while, but then they get on your nerves. Like I know they perfect their dick game to get the women and get the women.
You know why they get on your nerves?
But then after a while, it's like, it's a list of reasons, Haran.
I'm about to say.
Well, I'm going to tell you one of the main reasons why he gets on your fucking nerves. Your female imperative brain jumps in and says that, hey, I'm taking care of a child.
Oh no, I'm not going to take care.
There's no man in my home. I'm taking care of a child. And when a woman sees you as a child, she immediately begins to resent you. She begins to resent you.
Like that's so true.
If a man asks me for money, when I tell you that is the quickest way for me to like shut off by like, what are you doing? Like, how could you even fix your, but like, you're so comfortable, you just you know, like that is so weird to me. I can't do that.
I mean, my friends have asked me for money.
Yeah, but not somebody like, if you expect me to be horny after that. Like I can't do it.
And I told dudes like, look, man, when you talk that breathe life into me shit and build me and all this other shit, you're coming from the space. You're coming from the space of a child.
Mm-hmm.
And if a woman looks at you as if you are a child and she did not birth you, she begins to resent you because she wants to place you in the space of her protector, her provider, her man. And you want to fight for the energy that she's reserving for her offspring, for her child. God forbid she's already finished raising kids. She don't want to raise another fucking one. That's not what you're there for. So, you create all, so yeah, Harambe or whatever the fuck his name was, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's in a van right now because he didn't realize that, hey, dude, you're somebody's kid. You went through 20 years of your life being somebody's fucking kid.
Yeah, like it's cool when you're 20, or like in your 20s, you're fresh out of college and you're acting like that. Like, all right, it's like charming that you're this guy. You're like, oh, this nonconformist artist, and he doesn't need anything, and and he fucks me so good. Like that's cool for a little while, a couple of years, like after college, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're carrying that. He was carrying this into his 30s, and then into his early 40s, and then after a while, like women were just like, all right, enough.
Jen, I was telling you, Jen, and within my 20s when I was in the industry and so on, I had no fucking money, and whatever money I had, I spent it on all my instruments. Yeah, these girls spent money on me. They took me to my gigs, they did whatever and so on and so forth. But after a certain point in time and age and whatever, I began to really take hints of the energy was changing. And when I mean the energy was changing, that means the expectations were changing. And that's when I was like, ugh, hold up. I gotta make some changes. I gotta look at this from a different perspective. I can't continue my life, going down this fucking road.
See, but then that's where Justin says, the males and men, because men are gonna be like, this shit's not cute anymore. I gotta get my shit together. And the person I'm talking about, way in the ages that we are at, and still, talking about women should breathe life into them, and it's like, dude, you're like 60 is around the corner. Aren't you fucking petrified of what's gonna happen in life?
You ain't got much life left.
But even guys who say like externally have their shit together will still say, I want you to breathe life into me.
Yes.
Oh, it's repulsive.
Yes.
It's
fucking
repulsive.
So I need a race bell because I'm going to ask Haran a question.
Because we already got the race bell in the chat, Lily. New Diamond has been going off.
Right.
Like everything's in caps.
Everything. She's like, this is what the fuck I said.
Go ahead, baby. Go make it happen.
I mean, do you think, because a lot of that stuff is based on low self-esteem or self-esteem issues and things like that. So do you feel, because Black men do have it hard here in America, do you feel like that does play a big part in why this plays our community a lot?
Are you saying
the self-esteem, based on tying into self-esteem and tying that to being a Black man?
A lot of Black men are dealing with self-esteem issues. They won't tell you that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They won't tell you that. Yeah, they're dealing with a lot of self-esteem issues because there's a lot of directions a lot of Black men want to go into, but they're told they shouldn't go into because, well, they might be risking their Blackness if they do so. They might be risking their man card if they do so. So yeah, there's a lot of issues and there's a lot of ideas a lot of brothers are dealing with and they don't want to talk about. So yeah.
Oh, and now they're a simp if they treat a woman nice.
And that's just the whole shit. Like if you, I'm not of the class at my core. You know what I mean? And I'm sure Jen can attest to this. I talk a lot of shit on this channel, whatever. But at my core, I'm a fucking gentleman. All right, and I mean to put the F word in front of that. I am a gentleman. You know what I mean? I am not of the school of robbing a woman of her dignity just to prove some sort of point. You know what I mean, or whatever. I don't have to do that. You know, I'd have to go down that road. You know what I mean? I can excuse myself from the situation, you know what I mean, without an issue, without, you must destroy this woman in order to prove what? In order to prove what exactly? That you want an argument with a woman? So,
these men that argue with women,
like I'm just not of that school. I don't know. My thing is that, those same guys, very rarely do I see them have the same energy when they're in a room full of men.
Right.
And when I mean in a room full of men, I'm not talking about online. No, I mean when they're physically in a room, in person, with a room full of men. A lot of the bass that these guys have in their voice, trust me, they're not gonna have that in a room full of, actual men. But that's another topic within itself. So yes, Lily, to your question, yes, there's a lot of brothers dealing with a lot of self-esteem issues, and they're projecting that.
Yeah.
Onto the women and each other.
The thing with self-esteem is the first word is self. So the only way to get self-esteem is through the self. That like the only way through the problem of the individual, the only problem of you is you. Like you're the only one that can take you out. Right? That's it. Like there's no one, no thing, no drug, no thing you can listen to, nothing you can watch, no book you can read, nothing, no prayers, no religion, nothing can take you out of a low self-esteem than the self. You literally it's an oxymoron, but you literally have to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, by reframing your mind and doing it again and again and again and again and again, just like they do like the Buddhist prayer beads. You ever see them that they're thumbing those Buddhist prayer beads? They're
Catholics
sitting there,
too,
right? Yes, and they're sitting there doing mantras and they're drilling shit into their minds to start changing the way they think and perceive themselves and the world around them, right? And their beliefs, right? Because what you believe is what you perceive. So if you believe a certain thing about yourself, that's how you're going to perceive yourself. So you have to actively change your beliefs, which means cutting off influences from the outside, because all that information, the things you listen to on YouTube, the news, the radio, the people, your family, all these things can influence the way you believe about yourself. And that will change how you perceive yourself. So in order to, you got to like clear the slate and stop listening, which means cutting off certain things. You have to risk cutting off family, if even just temporarily. You have to cut off certain influences, certain people in your life, certain bits of information, to try to like minimize the slate or clear it at best, so that then you can start putting what beliefs you want in there. Right?
Yeah.
Which also means getting rid of the fear of disappointment. Like, ooh, right? Jen, you went through this. That battling that fear of disappointment. Ooh, I'm not going to claim being Christian anymore. What's my aunt going to think? What's my mom going to think? What's my friends going to think? What's the pastor going to think, or whoever it was, So, but you can't face that struggle until you've kind of come to you have to like clear the arena, and it's like, okay, now I'm clear of the distraction. I can face this. And that's when you can start dealing with that and start reprogramming how you believe in yourself. But it can only be done by you. There's no one can help you. Like, you can have friends to support you and be like, hey, you got this, but no one can actually do it. Right. And that's the problem. Right. That's it. Like, there's no other answer.
Yeah, and that's the problem right there, because everything in our society is externally based, and it's feeding you these subliminal messages. It's like, oh, you just get this one more thing, and this is when you're gonna feel better about yourself. Yeah. You get this relationship, you get this car, you get this whatever, and that's what it is. You're just missing that, and
you need this eye cream,
and that makes bra, so much money. And check this out. You notice now there's makeup that's being marketed to men?
Men.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
And men are using more filters now.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yep. So it's
I saw someone with the phone. I was like, no.
Let's make you more. Let's make you more emotional, right? So that we can tap into your desires and start leading your impulses the way we want you to lead. And now we can start making more money off of you, because men for many decades have not been big spenders, right? Guys will just like, we'll get like a couple of pairs of shoes, and we'll wear them down to like the soles have holes in them. And then be like, okay, I need a new pair of shoes, right?
Yep.
Like those work
That's my
boots,
kind of man.
Those work boots will be destroyed when they get replaced. You know what I'm saying? But now that's been shifting slowly over time, right? And so it's like, all right, we got them emotional now. Now we can really start making money off these motherfuckers. Right.
You know, it's really funny, Justin, that you say that, because with Jen and Lily, sometimes they tell me certain things, you know what I mean? Certain advice on certain things, because I admit I'm very much a guy when it comes to certain things. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? I'll have the shoes and wear them down to the nubs. I'll do whatever and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? I'm very much, you know what I mean, a guy, you can say, you know what I mean, in my life, and I enjoy being that. There's just certain things that a man should, you know what I mean, walk his path and ignore. And most of the stuff that's going on right now, that's being sold to men right now, they should ignore. Look, man, I got into a discussion with a dude the other day, and we were talking, you know, and he was drinking his milk or whatever, and he was like, "Yo, this milk is great." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." You know what I mean? And I'm eating or whatever. I'm eating
glass of milk.
Yeah, he was drinking a glass of milk. And I'm, you know, I mean, I'm eating my eggs. And he was like, he's drinking his milk. He was like, "Yeah, you know, this is soy milk." And I'm just like, "Oh, it's soy milk." You know what I mean? And, you know what I mean?
Taking his estrogen shot.
And I'm just like, he's like, "Yeah, well, I haven't." I was like, he was like, "You drink soy milk?" And I'm like, "No, I don't drink it. It affects your testosterone levels." It's like, "What do you mean?" He was like, I was like, "Oh, well, you're essentially boosting your estrogen levels as you're drinking that milk. So you basically saying this is women's milk?" I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're drinking yourself into becoming a bitch." So, you know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. And then he looked at me, and I'm like, "What? You know what I mean? I want some eggs? I don't know. This will help." You know what I mean?
You know, I can't, like, that whole metrosexual thing, when that started to get ushered in, I was very concerned, because I want to be the one to say, you know, "Hey, let's go shopping, try this, or put this sweater on," or whatever. Like, for instance, my bestie and I was out yesterday on our walk, and we saw a couple, male, female, and both of us did that. It was something, I forgot what it was with him, but we both kind of snapped, and we was like, what is she doing? Why is he looking like that with her right there? Because we expect for him to look like that by himself. But with a woman, it's like, girl, like that's what we do. We think about that. We think about your shirt that's, you know, whatever. We think about the shoes. Hey, babe, it's time for a pair of new shoes. You know, like, that isn't really your job too much. Like, I don't mind a man that could put together something, but if you're in the mirror just as much as me or more than me, there's a problem. Like, I can't do that. I'm not.
You know what's my petty reason to not date somebody or like get turned off quickly? It's petty. It's super petty. If I'm like scrolling your Instagram or your Facebook, one, you have a lot of pictures, and two, you have a lot of clothes.
Yes.
Like, I know it's petty. I know it's petty. But if I see a guy who constantly is like, has a lot of clothes, and is like, shoes always match the thing, that if he has a lot of clothes and he's
Let me ask you something.
It is a turn off.
So wait a minute, Jen. Let me ask you something. Okay, let's for example, let's say some of the outfit ideas that you sent me in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what if when you came to my Facebook page, you saw nothing but that, or my IG page, you saw nothing but that, and all of these other things, and extreme color coordination, you would be like, that was kind of like,
I can answer that. I've seen your IG page. You got like, what, 5 pictures on there?
Yeah, I got about like 5.
Okay, because you're not that guy. So, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, that guy is that guy. He's going to have 100,000 pictures of him, half selfies, half outfits. That is such a turn off. It is such a like that's a hard no.
Like I don't know angles and shit like that.
Yeah,
and all
I
that.
don't. I've listened. Some guys have tried to talk to me, and I promise you, and they were like, "Oh, okay, there's a cool looking guy, whatever." And then I go to his Facebook page or his Instagram. I'm like, nah, you got too much clothes.
You because I feel like I'm out to share the marriage with you.
I swear to you.
Oh, I'm with you, Jen. That's a hard no.
I swear, it's like every picture is a new outfit in the little pocket. That I'm like, no, we're not gonna match because I'm going to spend 3 hours in Walmart.
Right.
We're not gonna match. Like,
and that's another reason why
you're not gonna like me. I'm not gonna like you.
Like that's another reason.
As a man is showing me where that's a big part of his identity. Like he attaches that to his self-esteem and his identity.
Okay. So that's my issue then. It's not just the clothes per se, but it's like like him being able to dress and match his shoes with the thing, and every picture is a different color. To me, that's like, this is who I am. This is my personality. Unless you're a stylist. If you're a stylist, because I know a guy he's literally a stylist. That is what he does.
That's a different thing.
He's advertising his shit. This is what I do for a living. But just a regular guy that it's like, yeah, I got paid again. Let me go buy 10 suits. And I don't know. I'm petty.
No, I am too.
I'm petty.
I can't unsee it and I can't get past it. I've tried.
You know what? You're just not the first women that I've heard say this shit though. Like I told you, I knew a girl who dumped a dude. He was like, because she literally say she caught him on his IG smoking hookah like a bad bitch, and he was like, she ain't one.
Listen, men don't realize how easily we could get turned off. It be the littlest shit, and he won't even know. And I'm like, if we're already out with you, I start backwards. Women are like, I don't know you. I don't trust you. You start at 100 with me. I give you 100. Here's your 100. And then what you do with that 100 is your business.
That's funny you say that, because that's really a lot of the case sometimes, where the guy really, if you're already going out, there's like at least a certain level of interest. Okay.
Yeah, you're at 100 or something.
Or I'm just saying, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe
enough
not always 100, but enough to be out with the guy, right? And really, most of the time, or a lot of the time, he just has to not fuck it up.
Yeah.
Right? But they end up talking too much.
Yes.
And asking you stupid questions.
Oh, the stupid questions, Justin.
Justin.
You know the one I hate when someone slides in my DM and then they'll I'm talking, this question literally drives me nuts. What do you do for a living? My whole existence on social media is what the fuck I do for a living. You met me through social media.
Make stuff up. Just have fun with it. Get creative. You know.
I'll lie and shit.
You're an aglet designer.
Yeah.
Aglet designer.
Well, no, I lie if I meet them in person, but I'm talking about they slide in my DM. You met me through the social media. Like my whole existence.
I'm gonna just start saying stupid shit. I'm be like, you ever been to a pet shop? Yeah. Well, you know what? The kittens look neat. Yeah. I'm the one that combs the kittens.
A kitten comber?
I'm a kitten comber. What do you do?
You know what? I'd probably say some shit in response to that.
What do you do?
I'll probably say I'm a pussy stroker too.
There you go.
That makes us both.
All right. We both deal with the kitties. Because I hate that question too. But yeah, to answer Coach Anthony, it's just the vanity of it. I like my men rough around the edges.
Well, it's a signal that his pussy is tighter than yours.
Right. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of my.
I never heard of that.
You're looking at that and going, you know what? I think I'm gonna be waiting for him when we go out.
Right. And
you've done your shit, and you're like looking at your watch, like, damn.
Right.
He's still in the bathroom getting ready.
That's not sexy.
Yeah. I like my guys rough. I like my guys a little rough around the edges. You know what I mean? A little, let me get that for you. Let me take the lint off your t-shirt or what, you coming all pristine, perfect. I'm like,
I mean, like, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Yeah, that's
right.
how
Like,
I feel. I feel like I feel
like don't touch the fucking hair.
Yes, I feel like that. I'm like,
don't touch the hair. Remember, he was like, don't touch the fucking hair. You fucking had to touch
that's
the
how
hair.
I be feeling. I'm like, it feels soft. It's like, oh, I don't know what, like, oh, I don't want to wrinkle his suit, or it's just weird. I feel like I'm with one of my homegirls.
And that dude had clothes. The one I'm talking about, I'm talking about to the nines, like constantly posing with clothes and his shoes or whatever. It was his fucking hobby. But that, and plus one time we had phone sex and he sounded like a fucking gorilla in pain. And I was like, I can't see this in person. I refuse. I refuse to experience this in person. I refuse. Like, when you're having phone sex and you're all into it, and then it was so disturbing. I was like this on the other end. And he was going off. He was going off.
Well, you stopped talking 5 minutes ago.
Yes. I was completely silent. I was like, what the fuck do I
do?
To be fair, was this the climax?
Yes.
Oh shit.
It was like right up to, right? Like up. Yeah, I didn't like it. And then I was so glad that it happened over the phone, because I was like, I would have been in person and this shit would have been happening.
One girl told me that she left the dude because he literally sounded like a girl when he nutted. Like he literally sounded like he's like it was like this screech, like a woman. And she just like, when it happened, she said she just looked at this dude like she just couldn't believe.
I know.
She was just like in horror. Her face was like in horror. Wow.
Steve, that's not good either. Steve said, "I don't talk." You can't lay there like a dead fish either.
Woo.
No, you should be talking a lot.
Yeah, man. Like, wow.
You just got to be saying the right shit, but you should be talking.
Yeah, not reading a dictionary or anything.
Right. Not. You should really be talking. Yeah, but that guy, perfectly dressed, just the
Mark has,
another girl. I'm gonna tell you another one. Another girl said, I think I told you this,
crygasms.
He's crying.
I have them crygasms.
You have crygasms, Mark?
Mark, hey, look, Mark. This is a safe space.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Mark is attractive too. He's a hot guy. He's like he looks like just an older version of an Abercrombie guy. Very attractive guy. How tall are you, Mark?
I was thinking
he's attractive.
Saved by the Bell, but
no, he's the opposite.
He's not Zach Morris.
He's not Zach Morris.
That is so funny. He's getting Robin Thicke on here.
No, he should cam up. Mark, you want to cam up? He cammed up a long time ago.
Yeah, come on. Just don't have a crygasm on camera.
He's 6'2". Okay.
Yeah, we can't have that.
No, he's attractive. Cam up if you want, Mark. Tell us about the crygasm.
Honestly,
but I'm petty.
There's that to me feels very feminine for a man to be like masturbating on the phone to a woman, like guiding his orgasm in that way. It just seems off. Yeah.
So you think phone sex, that's like not cool for men to do?
No, I do, but I'm just leading her.
Oh, like you leading her.
I'm leading her.
Doing the phone sex, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there talking. I'm just as Steve says, put the yak in her ear, Put that yak in her ear. So, but yeah, there's just something weird about like jerking off to a woman. What, like, I don't know. That's just weird. It's a little juvenile, a little bit feminine. Yeah. Like, could you imagine James Bond doing that shit?
No.
But you could imagine him talking a woman through.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I can imagine that.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Rodville said, "Yeah, I just told him be himself. Now the ninja got to talk." That's different. That's different.
Well, usually people don't talk because they don't know what to say because they're not actually being themselves. Right? Or they're.
I would say this. I would say this. I think a lot of men could benefit from spending a year of just experiencing different cultures. If you have the means, go to different places in the world, read different books, learn a new language. Just accumulate things, accumulate new ideas, and so on and so forth. You can come back after that. You can probably be an interesting person. Sometimes sometimes a lot of guys just don't have anything to say because they're not very cultured. They're not very worldly. Women tend to gravitate towards men who are very interesting. Also, I would also say learn how to tell a story. Learn how to be, interesting. Learn how to tell a joke. You know what I mean? Work on your.
But don't fucking talk too much, because that shit gives me a fucking headache. I mean, just talk and talk.
Are you talking even like in general or in the bedroom?
No, in general.
Oh,
like just fucking talking and you can't get a word in edgewise, and you got to jump in and stop them, and then just fucking talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and like
talk man more, is not cute.
Yeah, but talking more than me, and I'm a woman. Yeah, that shit. It gives me a headache. But let me ask the gents.
I do it for punishment.
Well, let me ask the gents something. No, I'm
serious. Lectures. I sit her down. It's like, hey, you screwed up on this thing, and now we're gonna talk about it. Right, so like sit her down, sit her down, and give her like a 15-minute lecture, and she hates it, but like it's it's her own good.
A 15-minute fucking lecture.
That was my dad. Anytime I did anything wrong.
What you want to ask, Jen?
Okay, so here's my question to the gentleman. Okay, so you mean to tell me that y'all have never let go during sex? I mean, like, never let go, like a growl or just let go. You're just there to like, I'm a dick her down till she feels good and obeys.
First you said you let out a little peep, like a squirrel.
Right. My voice can't even
a squirrel.
A squirrel.
Yeah, like Jen, my voice can't even reach that range. Like I can't even do that. Like physically, I'm incapable. Well, Prince his vocal cords made him able to do that. I'm not physically capable of reaching that range.
Right.
Like,
I just want to know: have you guys ever did a?
Nah, I've never did a. Like, what is that? Like, I've never.
Yeah, I ain't never hit it with.
No, like, I mean, I'm sure I've growled and. I've sounded like I've had a couple of grunts and so on and so forth when I'm, releasing. But no, I've never sounded like the pills. No, I don't sound like a Pillsbury Doughboy when you like in the stomach, like no, that's never happened to me.
Oh, shit.
Come on, Justin, confess.
No, but I'm laughing because I'm just imagining like fucking with my girl and just doing that on purpose, like doing like a Pillsbury Doughboy sound.
I would be traumatized. I would be traumatized.
Just to fuck with her head.
I would fucking be traumatized. I couldn't unhear it.
Oh my God.
I couldn't unhear it.
Oh, man.
I would just freaking fall out.
I wouldn't be able to stay straight faced for that one.
That would. Oh my God.
Okay, so at least you growl. You feel it. You growl. You feel it. Mark Randall said, "I'm a growler," so you feel it. Like she hears you.
She hears. I'm also very commanding. When I'm in bed, though, I'm very commanding. I'm very
okay.
You know what I mean?
That's I love verbal. I love verbal.
No, yeah. Like I was saying before, like what helps is writing, like getting comfortable.
Ron said he crows like a rooster.
He's so stupid. I'm done with y'all. This chat makes no fucking sense.
They got no chill. That's what the problem is.
At all. They ain't shit in the chat.
Oh my God, man. Mark said I sounded like Michael Jackson. Oh,
can you imagine a neighbor? You're like,
oh my God. Oh my God.
What the fuck is going on over there?
Oh my God.
New Diamond is just like on this other train. she's just flooring it over there.
However, I heard a woman.
She's lining up the black man and just hitting the accelerator. Boom, 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 boom.
Hopping into 6th gear and flooring it. Like we're over here laughing about animal noises, and she's like, most black men just want a nut. Okay,
like sis. That's why I just leave her alone, man. Let her live. Just let her live, man.
Well, listen, every man wants a nut now. Every man wants a nut.
She just need to get it out, man. I hear you, baby.
Bob Dole taking us back to the topic. If a person is genuinely attracted to someone, I highly doubt that person would wait 90 days to hook up. That is true.
Did
that
he
is
run for
true.
president?
Yeah, Bob Dole. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember.
See, everybody pulls up to the block.
Exactly.
Yep.
Ross, I wasn't much louder than that. All right, Ron, I don't know. We about to hang out. All of us about to hang out in July, and I'm gonna be listening to the door in your room. If I hear, I'm kicking the door down.
I mean,
I knew it. Wait a minute, bitch. I knew it.
If you hear that shit, feel free to kick the door down, because I'll be as surprised as you. We both gonna be in shock. That pussy must be incredible. That shit must be the shit that they talked about in the Bible. That shit that got us all fucked up.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Shit.
The Eve apple pussy.
Right.
But, I mean,
that ruined the world.
Eve pussy.
Oh yeah, we gonna make sure we have multiple bathrooms, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Listen, y'all do what y'all gotta do. I told you I'm just coming to visit.
Maybe like 2 or 3. Maybe like 2 or 3 bathrooms.
I'll be in there.
Justin, we're all gonna do a meet and greet in July. Gonna rent
y'all cooking, right?
In Vegas.
Cooking,
in
right?
Vegas.
In Vegas?
Yeah. In Vegas.
I buy the food.
Yeah, we cooking.
I buy the food.
No, I'm not coming to Vegas. But yeah, man, Vegas is so weird, man. I like that place, but it's so strange.
It's
I've never been to Vegas. I've never been to Vegas before. Really?
Nah, it's
been Ron, it's your first time?
Yeah.
Be my first time.
Holy fuck! That shit's gonna be fun.
When I went to Vegas for the first time, I was my friend moved to California, right? And she was like, "Hey, let's drive cross country." Right? I'm like, "All right, cool, let's go." And we were smoking weed the whole way there, like just one coast to the other. And so we get to Vegas, and because we had both never been, and I was like, listen, I don't want to stay in like some nice place. Like I want like that like seedy Vegas experience. We found this motel that had like the wood paneling on the walls.
Oh, you got what you were looking for.
With like with the comforter that feels like it's like super thin and it feels like paper.
Yeah,
right?
It's
like you didn't even it had like 30 count like sheets.
Right. And
and there was a pool in the front with no water in it. Stains all around.
What is going on?
No, but this is what I wanted. I was like, I want that seedy Vegas experience. So that was the first place we stayed in. The second place we stayed in was a normal hotel. But what was really cool is that we were going into all the little well, not little, but the casinos, right? And we're like, oh, let's check out the Venetian, right? Because I've always heard that was like a really cool place. And I didn't know they had a shopping area inside the Venetian.
It's crazy.
We're stoned out of our minds, okay? And we go into the Venetian, and the shopping area was closed down. Right, it's completely closed down. It was that late, right? So all these shops, and they make it look like you're walking down the streets of Venice. But what's really cool is the ceilings are arched. Okay, so the ceilings have like a curve to them, and then there's recessed lighting on it. So when the light bounces up on the curved surface, it messes with your depth perception. Okay. And they had like an expert artist paint clouds in a sky, and so it was lit perfectly. So you're looking up and it looks like a perfect fucking blue sky sunny day. Like it was like immaculately done. And we're walking through this shit, there's no people. So we thought that it would be filled with people. We walk in, it's like a ghost town Venice. right? You can hear the water trickling from the water that's going through the place. No people around, and we're looking at this fucking sky, like losing our minds, like what the fuck is going on, you know? And then we bust out into the casino, and then it's like, boom, like whole new experience, like thousands of people, all fucking gambling, lights and all that shit. We're like, what the fuck is going on? This place is insane. And they're like people who just live that every single day. They're like,
they live that.
Yeah, they're just like, let's go to the casino. Like that's their hangout spot. Like, let's get coffee.
This one up the street, I didn't realize people around here just like hang out there. Like they start around now and then they're there until the morning. I'm like, that's their life. Out
here there are people that like go from the morning all the way to night. They tie themselves to the slot machines. Like casinos are like not tie it's a coily thing. And it connects to the slot machine because that's their slot machine, but they're there all day, all night. Bob Dole, you good, honey? You didn't change the subject. We changed the subject. The manicures. I don't mind a man with a manicure, but he does. I tell men this all the time. You do not need the fucking clear polish. Do not let the woman put the clear polish on you. Just have your fingernails buffed.
Good. That's it. That's all you need.
Do not put the fucking clear nail polish on.
Listen, just trim your nails. That's all you got to do.
That's it. That's it.
I'm saying if he wants to, because he's asking, but I don't need a guy to get a manicure at all.
Manicure, no.
I don't need it either.
At all.
At all. Like, I don't need it.
Not a manicure.
But what I do need, and this is a must. I don't like the whites. Get like you said, clip the nails. Get rid of the whites. I do not like the white part. Like that's it.
Clip your nails. Clip your nails and make sure they clean.
And make it maybe a little lid, just a tiny file, just to make sure you don't have any sharp edges on there, right? And that's it. That's all you got to worry about.
You know how they have feet
manicure, soaking your cuticles, and exactly. Putting them in a little dryer, put the coat on them, and it's like
I've given men pedicures and manicures. Oh, I was something in my 20s, boy. Not no more. Not no more.
That's why I said when I was in a relationship, I felt like that was at the time, that was my job. Like you don't think about going out getting no pedicure or manicure.
Correct.
I'll do that from home. Like that's what I'm
correct.
Doing. So that's what I think that's what we were looking at with the guy yesterday. We were like, why is you
I've never gotten I've never gotten a mani pedi. I don't know what the fuck
I've manicured.
Justin, I don't know what this.
I don't know, man. Like
it's not a mani pedi. You making it sound all. It's like taking care of your man's hands and taking care of your man's feet.
Yeah.
I don't do it anymore. I don't do it anymore.
Taking care of them if they're worth taking care of. Like he uses his hands. A man who sits there all day long tapping on a keyboard. That's a man who does not need a manicure or hand care from his woman. If he's got like rough hands, he's got calluses, he's got cuts. Yeah. He's like he actually uses his freaking hands for something. That is something that could use some care every once in a while.
That was the case with me. Yeah,
that's the case with me.
Well, there's oils you can use. There's the cleaning products and so on and so forth.
He's a blue collar guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like somebody's got roughed up hands like that. Yeah, sure. Take care of your man's hands. You have to go. I was in the bodega. I went to go get a drink at the bodega. The dude who like cashed me out, he had clear gloss on his face, and I'm like, what?
But that's what you're seeing a lot.
You're putting clear gloss on your face for what?
You're seeing a lot of that now. Like
show me how glittery your hands are. Is that what this is? You're trying to advertise? Like, what are you doing?
Because the lady, I'm telling you, the lady that does the manicure, I always tell guys, do not let her put clear polish on your fucking hands. Right. Don't do it.
Yeah, no. I can't. Like, don't put that. Like, that. It's just too much.
But you're starting to see a lot more men at the nail salon sitting on the thing.
Not just that, like, because I don't go to the nail salon, I do my own. But what I'm seeing is a lot more men with clear polish on their toes and on their hands. Because, like I said, I'm a hand person. That's the first thing I look at on any man. I will think he's fine as hell. That's my pettiness. That's my toxic trait. I will think he's fine as hell, but if he doesn't have the right hands that I'm attracted to, like I guess like that's how feet people are. Mm-hmm. It's a no-go. I can't unsee it. Mm-hmm. But the thing that I'm seeing now that I can't unsee is like tons of men
exactly
with clear
Thank you. See, we just helped Bob Dole. He said, "Thank you for the clear nail polish tip. The clear nail polish be looking like I've been eating fried chicken all day. That's how it looks. That is, and this is. Listen, we're talking way back when I was in my early 20s. One time, my baby daddy went to get himself a little manicure, and I was like, "What the fuck is that on your nail?" I said, "Oh no." So I can imagine now it's 10 times worse.
Oh, it's horrible now. It's horrible. Like, and they're just so. I don't know. It's just so.
So they just be up in the nail shop.
Yes.
With they soaking their feet.
Yes.
They post pictures. They post pictures.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
And think about it. They're not going to just sit there quietly like a man. Just say, like, hey, do your job, and I'll just sit here and get this thing. No, they're going to sit there and gab with her. They're gonna gab with her. They're gonna be
like, hey, so how soon? Hey, Sunyi, how's the family?
Sunyi,
Sunyi,
how's Subu? Hey, Sunyi, how's Subu?
It's really deep. It's real deep.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on?
I don't know. Y'all
are the last.
I'm gonna take you to another place because this is me and Bessie have this conversation all the time. We've been having this conversation for years. We always say all of the things that these guys make fun of us for doing, they slowly start to do over the years. It started with and it didn't start with us, but I started noticing it was like the skinny jeans first, right? When I was wearing the skinny jeans, they was like, oh, look at that punk, da da da. Then that became the thing, right? Then it's like all these little things that they do now. And that's why I always make that joke that they want to be bad bitches. Because it's like they always are coming for the girls.
You ever see, what's funny? You ever see a dude wearing skinny jeans that are too small?
Oh,
yes.
And they can't pull them off, right?
Yeah.
And probably literally can't pull them off because
they do that on purpose.
But they're like, I know like a lot of the cuts are supposed to be low-waisted, but they're like too low-waisted. And it's just like messing with the proportions.
They pull them down like that.
Right.
They buy them too small and then they pull them down to say.
Right. Then they can't walk right.
Yeah.
It makes her walk look all funny.
And don't go down south. That's
what
all
are you
you're
doing
see.
to yourself? Why do you hate yourself so much?
You go down south, that's all you're going to see.
I had to go to, I remember the first time where I had a spot back in the days that I used to go to the buy my jeans. You know what I mean? Because I gotta, my jeans have to be cut a certain way. My quads are big and my calves are pretty big. So I have to make sure that my jeans are fit a certain way. So I remember going, to the spot and I was grabbing some jeans and I put the shit on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? The shit couldn't even go past my calves. I'm like, hey man, you usually, have my shoes. Like, oh nah, we switched to skinny jeans. I'm like, oh Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Like this, I don't wear this shit, man. So I had to like search for, a new set of jeans, a new set of things to like really that cut.
Just get yourself some jeggings.
I mean, that's exactly what they felt like when I put them on. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? You know what I mean?
Yes, Lily. Yeah.
I'm like, you wear this shit? Like, there's men who wear this shit, man.
Yeah, and they go
Mark is stupid. He's stupid. Not a tube of toothpaste. Oh my God. Listen, we are the hell out of here. We're getting now our brains are starting to freaking fry on this shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
He said when you smash it at New Diamond, she one for the road. She's like, yeah, most black men are their clients.
And Becky
is okay with it though.
I love it.
Oh, we love this chat. Listen, hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door as you hit the light. Thank you so much.
Black men don't hit like and subscribe. They just watch.
They just watch. They don't hit.
No, they don't like this.
They don't, how can they? They don't have hands. Black men don't have hands. None of them have hands. And if they did, they'd put them in Becky's pocket anyway.
That's right. Watch your pockets.
Guys, tomorrow, Black Talent Battle. We have talent come up here from everywhere. New York, LA, Atlanta. We have some people from Washington, whatever. You got a talent? I'm reminding you, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, Block Talent Battle, you will be performing for a $100 cash prize if the chat likes you the best. Any talent, welcome. I don't care what it is. Come on up here. As long as you stay clothed, any talent is welcome. So if you're coming to pole dance, got to do it in clothes.
We don't ask much.
As always, this has been amazing. Mr. Justin, thanks for stopping by. Always great seeing you.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks for coming, Justin.
Yep.
Definitely. Thank you for pulling up.
Jen, it's been real. It's been a nice evening. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely.
All right. Good night, folks.
Good night, guys.
All right.
Once again, hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door for my mind. Come back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern for Block Talent Battle. Be ready to vote because you guys are the ones that decide which talent wins. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look in my gallery. We've had 2 Block Talent battles so far. So you can rap, sing, act, dance, whatever it is you want to do. We had a beatboxer last week. Come on up. Wait in the queue. Be patient. We will pull you up, give you 2 minutes to see your talent. And if the chat likes you the best, you win the $100 cash prize straight to your Cash App. All right, guys. So meet us here tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Good night. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for holding me down in the chat per usual.